you record now, or did you record it immediately after?
I recorded immediately after. Your words were the very first words of the recording, so be happy for that.
I missed a point. I should have just said first. Anyways.
Just comment on it first. It's fucking duh.
Edit the video. No, stop it and start it again. I was like, no, I don't care.
Nope. I'm not gonna do that.
It's too much effort.
It is too much effort, and I don't care.
Anyways.
Let me do some stretches here. You got a feeling it's gonna be a great time.
Ah, crap! Coffee's wearing off.
Shit. I have a monster in the fridge. I have a monster in the fridge. I really do need to bounce back.
All I have is whiskey and rum, and that doesn't have caffeine.
Hey, yo, me too, right here.
Hey.
I got some Gentleman Jack and Kraken rum. I got the Kraken rum because it had Kraken on it.
Yeah, no, that's a good reason. I almost did the same, and then I was just like, this one's $20, that one's like 30.
This was cheaper than Captain Morgan, so I'm like, whatever, I don't give a fuck.
What the fuck is with North California prices?
I don't fucking know, man. Anyways.
I get distracted so easily.
It's because we're both Californians, and everyone knows Californians are idiots. Haha, self-insults. Anyways, so, we're gonna jump right into it. In order to jump right into it, Asonia, don't play Despacito, play the scary music.
Damn, but I want this.
Thank you, Asonia. I like how it starts on the creepy pitch.
The ear scraping.
Yeah, it's great. So, I shouldn't be so excited. We should be somber. So, my friend, Chedomir, you awaken within the confines of a time-worn and tattered room. Tattered it may be, it does lack the, I guess, signature feature of padded rooms, which is that, you know, they usually have claw marks or some, like, people trying to get out. Signs of people trying to get out. Yours is, despite it being, you know, torn and tattered just from wear and tear and use, pretty pristine. You're alone in this room. There's nothing else in this room. And there's only one way out, which is a large iron door. Which has a metal sort of barred grate that allows you to peek outside of your room. So, what do you do?
Do I have all my stuff?
You do.
Check to see if she got her stuff.
You undo your pack, check in the bag of holding, check on your person proper, and you seem to have all your belongings.
It's just like an empty room. Is there like a bed or anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Just the room itself.
I want to... That's a weird one. Are there any, like, signs of, like, growth, like, moss or mold or anything?
Nope. Seems pretty clear.
Yeah, attempt to look out the little window. It's on the door. I said window, it's just the bars.
It's a little grate. Little peep grate area hole. Yeah, so...
Prepare for something to stab her in the fucking eyes.
No. You peek out through the grates, and you're met with a peculiar sight. You see that you're in this sort of a corridor with similarly secured rooms. You can see off in front of you, opposite of you directly, as well as to your left and right, that there are other rooms like yours.
She lets out a whistle to see if there's any reaction.
You say, "Hey," or something like that?
No, just like...
Oh,
just like...
I heard you say whisper. That's because I'm dumb.
No, she's trying to make something that's like loud enough that something would potentially hear.
Yeah, just a little whistle. not super loud, but just the high pitch of it allows it to sort of ring across. Nothing. No response. It is dead silent.
She checks to see if the door is locked.
It is indeed locked.
Who would have thunk it?
As you pull the door inwards to try to open it, and then you push, and it doesn't really. Yeah.
I was gonna say she.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do you the dirty like that.
Yeah. No, I had a dickhead that pulled that once in the game. We spent like 20 minutes fucking door.
Do you push the door or do you pull the door? No, I'm not gonna do you like that.
Anyways, I don't. She does not have a lockpicking set, and she doesn't really have experience with that kind of stuff to really know how to probably pick a lock. She's probably dexterous enough, but she just doesn't have the knowledge how to do that. What she might have the knowledge to do is how to break a door open with a spear. Or break the locking mechanism so that it separates. Does that make sense?
Sure. Yes, it does. Roll me. This would be a straight matter. This would be a straight matter of strength. The angle work is fine and all, but you trying to basically try to pry off and open the lock is a matter of strength. If you have a crowbar, I'll give you advantage.
Let me check my bag of holding, because that would have been like first session kind of thing.
Yes, I'm pretty sure you guys have one on the cart. I'm not sure you guys actually brought it with you.
I am almost 100% sure that is accurate. I do not have one on me.
Rip.
Shame. Does using the spear allow me to add my dexterity? Because it's iron wood, or no?
If it's ironwood, then yes.
Okay.
That's sort of the shtick with ironwood.
Shtick?
Yeah.
Okay, so d20 plus strength plus dex.
Yes.
Am I correct? Okay. So that one... doesn't matter if it jam... I'm gonna do this.
You can jam roll it if you wish. Yours is the last session.
Yeah. I want to do it because
if you want it, yeah, just do it. Why not?
Okay.
It's pretty good. Yeah. So you managed to sort of find a bit of the crack between door and door frame, and sort of begin nestling the tip of your spear as to where the locking mechanism actually is. You can even see like the little bar that it extends out to hold it in place, and then you begin leaning, throwing your entire weight and force behind it, and even doing like a couple of like tackles in place against your own spear, and then eventually like flies out deeper into your own padded room, and it even comes ajar on its own just from the momentum of it all. And then it creaks open. That was not a quiet endeavor, but
yeah, no, I was gonna say, you said that the door swings inwards?
Inwards. Towards you.
So she's going to, does she want to hide behind it, or does she want to wait around the corner? She wants to hide behind it to use the door as a cover and wait to see if anything comes in the next, like, 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay, so you sort of tuck yourself behind the door.
Yeah. She's ready to attack or see what the fuck is going on, if something shows up.
A moment passes. You very much desperately trying to hear for any steps. A flicker of worry is that you just simply aren't hearing it, even though they still exist. Eventually, this fear comes to pass as 1 minute passes, then 2, then 3, then 4, and it seems that either something is very slow in getting to you, or that there's nothing there at all. You settle for the latter. You even peek out of the doorway.
Settle for the latter or wait for an eternity.
Essentially. You peek out into the corridor again, left and right, and there's no one.
She quietly goes over to one of the other cells and looks inside.
You stealth over to one of the other doors and peek inside. It is empty.
Which direction? It's like just left or right, essentially, that lead to more crossroads, I'm guessing.
They lead to these sort of T intersections.
Okay, so she's going to put a mark next to what is her cell, quote unquote.
I would start drawing
like,
stuff.
Yeah. Oh, useful. Thank you.
So
I had a doodly pad.
So. Something like that. Something like that.
Right. So, what's the line that you pointed at?
That's just like your door. I shittily drew where you are.
Sure, that works. Yeah, she is the frame made of wood.
For the
like the cell that she was in.
Oh no, this is all metal.
It's all metal, but she can still like scrape something in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You basically chiseled your way out and then undid the screws that were holding it in place.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it was a matter of strength.
Destroy it.
And you guys are pretty strong people. If you don't mind being very loud, then who am I to stop you?
Hey, let me close my door for a second.
Sure.
So, she is just going to scratch some symbol into what was her cell, because she wants to know where she's been, and go, I suppose, left, quietly, occasionally, like, checking the rooms, especially if she hears something from them.
Okay.
She probably won't, but, yeah.
You peek in everyone you pass by, and there doesn't seem to be anything in them. You eventually come to the actual T intersection, and you look left and right, and you're met with something that boggles you. You're met with similar T intersections, but the problem you have with this is that it goes on forever. An infinite seeming grid of T intersections in this nice sterile gray slate environment.
Yeah, literally just like look in a direction, it's just infinite.
Yeah.
Like a labyrinth.
What's your passive perception?
21.
Okay.
Had to double check, but yes.
At this realization that this place is not normal, you unlean your head out from, peeking out to the left and right and take a step back and just try to ponder, like, what the hell am I supposed to do now? And then it sort of clicks with you. The steps you're taking doesn't make sense. If you're on this nice, sterile slate, stone, concrete floor, even as stealthy as you as an individual are, you should be making something, or getting this sort of lifting boot off of stone feeling. You do not get that. And you look down as you're inquires why is it not doing that? And then you begin sort of observing your feet leaving, walking back and forth a couple of paces, your feet leaving the ground, the floor. And it's almost as if the floor is like gum. Not like fresh gum on the sidewalk, but it just clings to your boots just a little bit before giving. And then you just think, why is that? That's very weird. And then you look at the walls, and these gray walls you realize aren't made of stone. You run
it's
your
all made of flesh.
It is indeed just made of gray flesh. And it's just so seamlessly appearing like a wall or the ground. This world of gray flesh that you're walking in and around.
Similar to a type of ooze or mimicry.
Not ooze. Oozes are much more fluid and transparent. And not to mention, they seldom keep their prey alive once they're ingested, so to speak.
My brain is just saying part of the part of the crew. I was like, no wait, have you ever seen Pirates of the Caribbean?
I have, but I don't remember any of it.
The way you said that is different. Anyways, Nickelodeon. I'm debating on just shouting, but I don't think that'll have any kind of reaction. Oh, because I have this, I do that, and I feel like, no, probably just be undead or something. And I don't have a ton of spell slots. I have enough. I would desire to use the doodad. What is it called? What did you change the name to? Something Mark.
The Primeval Mark?
Primeval Mark. Yes, just to see if I can detect what is within 1 mile, because I doubt this is my favorite terrain.
I don't think Fleshscape is your favorite terrain, no. Save that for someone like Scanlan Shorthold and his brothel endeavors.
That is a very different world.
You expend the first level spell slot and cast Primeval Mark, detecting if anyone or detecting. Let me look at myself actually.
Here, I can copy paste it if you want.
Just click the thing in your features, and I can just look at it.
Well, it's super long.
Well, who cares?
It's the third little chunk.
Aberrations. I don't think I need to tell you that there's a fiend demon around you. Nothing else, though.
I detect celestials, the power of God. No.
Nope.
Fiend demon. That's fun. You were gonna say something?
No.
What if she tries to cut off a piece of the wall? She's expecting some kind of adverse reaction to it.
You pull out like a dagger, a single-edged dagger, and then it's sort of like cutting away like a layer of jello, and it reveals like another layer of just black. And then it does have an adverse reaction as you expect. Sort of like veins form and begin pulsating, these blackened veins that sort of just stem out and away from the now gaping wound that you inflicted.
Could she take some time to experiment alchemical or monster hunting wise, or both, to like figure out a little bit about it? Like,
if you'd like to take the time to do so, sure.
Nothing seems to be around, but something could easily jump up on her. I do want to do one thing, because I have parts from the fish person that we dissected, so I would want to take like one of the fleshy bits that I would have had left over and put that on the wall to see if it like absorbs it or just doesn't care for it or something.
Yeah, alright, you take some of the preserved remains of the previous user.
Encounter.
Yeah. And place it against the wall. And then blackened veins pulsating, like, encompass the flesh that you put upon it. And then just assimilates it on to covering the wound that you left. Patched up. Not fully, but as much as it covered.
Okay. She is... It sounds stupid. She's going to... This sounds like a waste of time is what it sounds like. She's going to stand in the hallway with her hand on the wall for like a good like minute without moving, unless it seems like it's about to eat her hand, just to see if it's like, oh hey, here's something that's not moving, I'm gonna eat it. Or if it just waits for you to...
On the wall or on the wound?
The wall.
Just the wall?
Just the wall.
Let's say you go to the opposite wall, directly away from the wound. You go to the opposite end of the hall, just across, put your hand on there, waiting to see for any reaction, ready to pull your hand back in case of more perilous reactions. And then, sort of like a rumble, sort of like a stomach growling, and then a surge of just vibration. And you can feel it in your feet as well. Just
Does it seem to pulsate from me or from somewhere else and I'm getting hit by it?
somewhere else.
I feel it. In my head, it sounds like somebody hitting like a spider web or echolocation, like a bat. If it's coming
That would be a fair way of describing it. Yes.
Do I know which general quote unquote direction it could be coming from? Like down here versus up here?
It seems to be extended from the top right.
Top right. Okay.
In reference to the map, that is.
Yeah. The question is, do I think that's the pulsation of something big and bad, or the pulsation of someone I could know fighting something big and bad? How would she react? If she thinks it's someone she would know, she would want to go and help. If it's not, she has no inclination either way. Any reaction to my hand being on the wall? Beside pulsation? I know I'm not correlating those two, but like that event happened while that was happening.
No.
Okay.
Nothing else.
She is going to pop off a few more bits and bits of the wall and maybe a little bit of the floor if that seems to be a similar thing, and shove it in her bag. Because she wants to study this shit later because it's weird and she's slightly interested. And by slightly, I mean immensely.
Okay. It doesn't take much effort. You pull out your dagger once more and begin slicing away at different pieces at different points. At some point, you do notice that instead of just being the blackened sort of gaping wound, they actually do start oozing out this sort of black ichor.
I would like to get a little bit of that juice as well.
Okay. You easily do so. So put...
And it is popping up in her head that she is terrified that, oh, I'm imagining this and I'm also carving into someone right now.
Eventually, the black ichor begins to straight up... It just free flows at some point. Dripping down or oozing out of the walls or out of the ground. And it even begins forming a puddle.
That's the part where Chedomir goes the opposite direction.
So you do.
It's like, that can either attract attention, or it's going to form into some bullshit. Oh no, she wants to see if it can freeze. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't want to be around that thing, because it's going to attract attention. But when she goes down the hallway, she is going to leave. I doubt they're going to stay, because this flesh wall is probably just going to patch them up, but she's going to try and leave markings, like, on metal and things, of just, like, something that Seekers would recognize, in case they come across this in an infinite labyrinth.
You leave marks of arrows.
Maybe like a C for Chedomir or an S for Seekers, or just something that like hunters would recognize effectively.
Do such arrows and letters. Something coherent in a place of who knows what. Begin trekking down to these forever holes and such like that. Do you do it just walking down and away, or? Do you stealth? Is my question.
She does attempt to not be detected, aside from the literal marking she's leaving, and she is checking if she comes across cells. She's looking in them, not as super detailed as she would like. She's just kind of like looking in them. Is there someone in there? No, continue. So if someone's hiding, she probably doesn't see him.
Roll me your stealth if you're trying to be not detected.
Stealth. Where's the button? Oh, what the crap? Nope, that's how I spell that.
You could go to the cog in your character sheet and just toggle.
You, just set it to...
you can set it to whisper toggle and then just toggle it to GM.
You can also set it to always whisper rolls.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, you're only doing it for this session.
Sure. I feel that's very fitting for Chedomir. Not very fitting for Chedomir. Continue.
The place is unsettling as it is, and the fact that your boots sort of cling to the ground as you step does not help your attempt at stealthing through a creature's interior. And you actually get to the point where you're just sort of going, and then you hear this sort of slog, driveling sort of grunt sound.
Real quick, I forgot about this until literally just now. Could she check if the poison on her weapon is still there?
It is.
Okay, so it hasn't been a long rest at least.
Supposedly.
Continue. Theoretically, this could all be in her mind. Who knows?
Potentially. You sort of look around the bend to where this noise is coming from. And as you look around the bend, you see a creature looking back at you, seemingly having heard you and your gummy steps. It is a creature of entirely black ooze, in relative human shape, I suppose, if not a bit stout. Probably, I don't know, 5.5 feet or so. With very live arms and a very sleek appearance.
What do you mean, very live arms?
Very long. Skinny.
Okay. Noodly.
Not noodly. It's all muscle. It's like a runner. Same for its legs. It's just out of proportion for a normal human body. And it sees you, and you see it.
I go back behind the corner and prepare for it to come around the corner, because it's not going to let me walk away, probably.
It does rush after you immediately. And it rounds around the corner. I'm assuming you try to attack it.
No, in a purely defensive stance.
It splatters against your shield then.
Yay! Does it seem to warp around the... Does it seem to warp around the shield?
It does warp around its shield. Its central mass, it coats the entirety of the front face of your shield. And then its liquid, fluid arms, legs, and head try to reach out and just push past and envelop your hands and arm that's holding the shield up. I need you to make my Constitution saving throw.
If she attempted, because I didn't think of this at the time, the wall thing, but instead use it as something to push off her shields instead of just make a wall, would that be possible for the mark?
It would be essentially freezing it onto your shield.
That's a good point. Okay. You said Constitution saving throw, right?
Roll a d20 as well.
Because of thingamajig. And not +6. I think it's broken, guys.
Your mantle breaks. As this creature begins lashing out violently, it catches one of the little plates that forms this mantle and just scratches the enchanting sort of sigil on it. And it does this multiple times, and it sort of just ends up doing this sort of cog cycle on your mantle as it sort of pulls down and sort of winds it around and eventually hits multiple plates. And you can sort of detect that its magic is fading.
Fading is an understatement.
Fading is an understatement.
Okay, so she shoves the fucking thing off, now pissed that she broke her thing.
You try to shove it. It is stuck onto a shield.
Oh, it's entirely... Okay.
It's a fluid creature.
Can she just body slam it into the floor?
If you want to try to body slam a liquid, sure.
Yeah, sure. Let's try that.
Roll me an attack.
Uh...
With your shield. So
that would just
strength.
be like a d20 plus strength. Okay.
Plus proficiency.
And that.
Okay.
I have a button for this.
You slam, just throw yourself against the ground with this thing and just crush it underneath your way of you and your shield. And it just sort of cause it to sort of like, pop and explode outward, its black form spattering across all the cardinal directions and then some.
She wants to try and like roll if she can, so that it doesn't just wrap up and try to pull her into the ground.
Yeah, you can easily do that.
Yeah.
You roll, and there's still some remains of it on your shield, but it seems that the ground itself has decided to stick with it.
Stick with it. That's what why.
It doesn't seem to reform.
Does it seem that I took any nicks or bruises? Or is it just purely destroy the mantle and that's about it?
Basically, it flowed at you.
Hmm.
You don't seem to have any bruises or cuts.
Well, that happened. I listen to the environment around me, / feel to see if I can hear anything or feel that vibration again.
Roll me perception.
Perception with advantage, because damn it.
Well, that's only one first off, so just roll one more.
Yeah. Boop, and then that one. You know what? I'm gonna turn off that thing because I don't like that query advantage. There we go. Continue.
You see him in the clear. You don't hear or note anything in the vicinity approaching.
Did the thing seem to leave any types of tracks on the ground when it ran?
When it sprinted around the corner?
Splats. Yeah.
It left black footprints, yes.
Does it seem that the footprints just originated where it was standing, or like it came from somewhere?
It seemed to originate where it was standing.
So...
Upon closer inspection, it does also appear that where it was standing has a gash wound across it. A large cut.
Does it seem like an outward force cut that open, or it was just simply something that appeared there? Like it broke itself open? Like pulling a stitch versus someone cutting you.
Well, pulling a stitch, we're still required to cut for it to stitch up. So...
But do you get what I'm saying there?
You gave me two of the same option because, again, a stitch requires it.
Yeah, does it seem like it broke itself open, or does it seem like something broke it open?
Roll me your investigation. Because here's the thing, if something pulls apart, it pulls evenly. You don't know.
Yeah, that's my luck. Is there any signs of like any other struggle around here, or
none that you can tell? The black puddle that is still oozing out from it begins bubbling once more, though.
Bye. She goes. She was on the right side of the. Looking at the map, she was on the right path, right? Going down.
You're on one of them. It doesn't
Okay,
matter which
she goes
one.
to the other one. Yeah, she just goes to whatever the other one is and continues heading in the similar direction she was heading before. Just down a different path.
Okay. You continue heading down the side corridors. Going, still peeking from place to place, cell to cell. So on and so forth.
Keeping the little markings going.
Keeping the marks going.
She's also looking for, like, the mark she left on her quote-unquote cell.
You don't find it again.
Okay.
Eventually, there's something of a transition in the ground. They're walking on the walls around you. It becomes less and less fleshy. And becomes a bit more, how to say, firm. Holds its form more. And this continues on after but a few minutes of traveling. Until you sort of... It feels... The floor you're walking on is entirely different now. Now it feels like you're actually walking on a solid floor. Just one that has some layer over it. Some leathery carpet, I guess.
Looking down, does it just seem that I'm standing on a carpet suddenly?
No. Still looks like gray flesh. And skin and such.
She's gonna mark the wall with chalk or no? Does she have to? Doesn't matter. She marks a wall in a way pointing back to where she came, saying flesh, like flesh versus leather, which is what she's standing on. But she points an arrow the other way.
You carve this into the wall.
If there's like a metal fixture somewhere, she'd go with that.
You just have endless cells.
Endless cells. Okay. Yeah, she'll just do it into the wall then.
If you do it into the wall, you leave a black sort of scarring on it.
Mm-hmm.
Which begins oozing.
She continues down the way she was going. Watching behind her to make sure something doesn't pop out.
I mean, given any amount of time, another thing will ooze out of that.
Yeah, which she's figuring, but she doesn't know if the thing will be able to like just follow her, like it knows where she's going. And those things seem fucking fast.
You continue down, being mindful of the path that you left. And since this is just an endless corridor, you do see eventually one of those figures ooze out of the wall. It looks left. It looks right. It spots you and begins sprinting at you. It's like literally hundreds of feet down the hall.
I don't have like a range. I have a bow and arrow. What do you mean I don't have range? She attempts to shoot at it with her arrows, or bow and arrow, to see if...
Roll an attack with disadvantage.
That one, and then this one, and then that one, and then that one.
Shoots past it down the endless corridor. You have plenty of time to kill it.
Why would it be at disadvantage?
Because you're shooting several hundred feet down a long corridor.
Several hundred. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I wait for it to be within 150 feet.
Okay, fine, Asonia, you little bitch. I just got an entire repeat. There we go.
Can you knock an ink blot unconscious? I'm gonna find out. No, I can't do that with ranged weapons. Never mind. Yeah, she's just gonna take a few more shots at it.
Roll.
Whenever it's within 150 feet.
Vero, roll.
Beep, and then beep. Wait, +3, +3. Proficiency. Okay.
You hit it, and it dies. Its form just sort of dissipates as the arrow cleans through it and then hits the ground.
Okay. So it doesn't take a lot to kill them. But they could literally pop out of the fucking walls.
Roll me your perception.
And do that. Nope, that's persuasion. That's definitely not the one I want to click. I persuade the asylum. 20!
You can see the two arrows that you shot damage the ground. And the cuts that they leave upon the ground from their piercing also begin oozing. Slowly but surely.
Going into a... She goes down one of the hallways to see if there's not going to be an open cell, but she checks through a couple of doors to see if they're like unlocked or something.
Oh, they're unlocked.
They're unlocked?
They're unlocked.
She opens one, goes inside, closes it, and tries to just hide in there.
Okay. Also, I realized Asonia didn't do shit. There we go.
There it goes.
You open the cell and go inside it. Do you close the door behind you, or you just go inside it?
She closes it. She closes it and keeps her hand like on the. No wait, the inside of the door wouldn't have a handle because it's an asylum.
It has a bar, not a turnable handle, but.
Okay. Yeah, she closes it so that like it looks like it's closed, but not like lock it fully.
There's no way you could close the door and not lock it fully. When you have 5 other examples in the hallway of what a closed door looks like, the one that isn't a carbon copy of those other 5 is obvious.
Okay, she closes the door. And just hides. And listens and waits.
You listen, you wait, you hear some steps
comes through the fucking bar door window.
You hear them come close. And then go far. As you're sort of just leaned, hidden underneath the door itself.
She waits about a minute. And then she will open the door. And continue walking.
The door's locked, so you can't just open it.
Okay, that's what I was trying to avoid. The other thing is, there's things that could probably hear that. So she's going to, from her very probably almost non-existent training, she's going to try and pick the lock with like a dagger and some small piece metal instrument, probably from her like alchemist kit.
Roll me thieves tools at like disadvantage.
Thieves tools?
Or dexterity.
Thieves tools. Yeah, that's more like it. Nah, sleight of hand would be the exact same stat anyways. Okay. This one, and then do that, and then I figured this is probably gonna fail. Yeah, dang it, the first one was good though.
Shame. That's why we had disadvantage. You begin going over with as thin a dagger as you carry, and a sort of stirring implement for your alchemy tools, and try to pick the lock. To no avail. And as you huff frustratedly at it, the door begins moving. That's not to say it begins opening. That's to say the door, its entire door frame, your little porthole of light begins sliding.
She jumps to the middle of the room.
You do so. It just begins sliding, eventually getting to the corner where it just sort of dissolves away into nothingness, and then coming out from the other side of the corner. Just going. And then eventually at the second, so imagine an L, after it's crossed that sort of corner pivot point, it eventually stops center. Looking out, first off, the light color is different, and it's a new environment.
Hold on, I'm writing this down in my notes real quick. How do you write this down? The door fucking moves, and now there's weird lights. Okay. Door.
Not weird lights, it's just a different color of light.
Door moves.
Before it was just gray, now it's actually light.
Like natural sunlight.
For Dovros, yeah. Dovros' current state.
Hmm. Okay. She checks to see if the moving door is locked.
As you go up to open it, it opens outward.
Thank you, flesh door. Possibly flesh door. Magic flesh door. Not gonna question it. What is outside the door?
Outside the door, you peek left and right. It's similar to what you were in before. This sort of... Now it's as if... Here, I'll just draw it simply. So much easier that way. Room. So still a T intersection of sorts. Except... your room is one of the perpendicular points. And you look left and right, and you find a similar arrangement of rooms along this corridor, forming perpendicular ways. But they're unlike before, there's an actual end. Only just 3 cells past you to your right. And then down to your left, there's but 1 cell next to yours, and then a double door that's closed. You know, the sort of hospital double doors that, you know, gurneys fly through all the time.
Does it say don't open, dead inside?
It does not.
Where is the light coming from in this place?
There's a window all across this opposite end of the wall. All windows. With,
How high up is it?
I don't know, probably starts at like around your stomach area.
Okay.
It is barred on the other side, grates and such, you know, like at a urban environment where people get broken into and such.
Looking outside, what is out there? If there is an outside.
There is an outside. You see sort of the walls of the Cradle, as well as the river that runs by it, and you even see the bridge you guys came across.
Mm-hmm.
Not directly in front of where you are, but off to the side over there is the bridge.
Does the town seem like it's in a similar condition that from when we left it?
Initial glance, yes. Still foggy. Still dead and quiet in its own ominous way. But weirdly enough, that's a bit better than what you were in right now. You and your people.
Does there seem to be like any activity going on in the city, or like dilapidated buildings, or burn or fires, or anything?
No.
And it's just a barred window. There's not. Is there glass in front of the bar?
There's glass. It's just that there's a gray on the other side to make sure that people don't, I don't know, jump out the window.
If I cut the glass with a dagger, does anything seem to happen?
Or then a loud screeching noise and Mark cutting the glass by, you know, like dropping your iPhone or whatever. No flesh, no black ooze or anything.
How big a gap is there on the bars in the window?
It's a grid.
Grid, okay.
Interlocking bars, I suppose would be the word.
I go to the end of the hallway that has a cell at the very end and look inside that one first, and then probably go check the other ones if they're empty.
They are indeed empty.
Is there any signs of life from like previous life, like people were just sleeping in there, or people were in a fight or something?
Rumor survival. Looking for signs of life.
Life, or it's been lived in. Well, I guess those are the same thing. Let me reload G20 or G20. Roll 20 real quick, because I think that's a 21. But there's part of my screen that's like blocked off.
It is a 21. I can see it. While you reload, I'll continue describing it. It looks like all of these cells have had signs of people living in them within the past few weeks. But you note that the one closest to your cell on the right side looks very recent. It looks as if it was opened, I don't know, within the past hour.
Are there like are there signs of struggle, or just like someone was in there?
Looks like someone was in there, and the door opened, and then they left.
They didn't like pick it or break the lock or anything. The door just simply opened.
I never said that.
Well, does it look like it was picked or broken?
How does one determine what a lockpicked door looks like?
Okay, not lockpicked. That's fair, but does it look broken?
It does not look broken.
Okay.
I will detail such.
So either somebody somehow picked a lock on the inside of an asylum, which I don't know if that's even fucking possible, or the door was opened. Considering my door just...
There is a place to lockpick it. The keyhole goes both ways. Or else how would you have been able to lockpick it while you're inside it just now?
It's less lockpicking. It's Chedomir lockpicking. Break the fucking door.
You still had a lock for you to pick one side.
Yeah.
The lock goes both ways.
My stupid joke aside, she goes to investigate the double doors. Are there like windows to look in on the double doors?
Yeah, little tall column windows.
She peeks in there, trying to keep most of herself obscured, so if somebody peeks back, they don't see her, maybe, hopefully.
You're greeted by some sort of receptionist area.
Is there a receptionist?
There is not.
I really want there to be a receptionist. Aww.
But you do see someone. You do see Mira.
Do I want to kick in the door and scare her? The answer is no.
She's behind the receptionist's desk and is looking through documents.
Does she look panicked or phrased in any way, or is she just...
She looks focused and in a hurry, but not necessarily panicked.
Chedomir opens the door with her shield on, by the way. She opens the door and makes sure that she isn't shot in the chest. Because she fully expects her just to, like, pull up the door.
Ah, you learned some lessons. Luckily, Mira is not Cedric. In terms of speed, at least. As you open the door, you see Mira reach for her bow, which is just sort of on the writing area, you know, the in-between area from clerk to person that they're talking to. And then she stops as she's, like, about to grab it properly. Chedomir? Oh, thank God. Come on.
That was fast, but not fast enough. I'm fucking with you. Hi.
Hi. Well,
weird. Are you an ink monster?
Huh?
Are you an ink person?
I am an elf.
I'll take it for now.
I'm not an ink monster, whatever.
You ain't saying those?
No, but from the fact that you asked that question, that means you did.
Does Chedomir have residue on her shield?
Nope.
Or did that come off at this point? Okay. Yeah, I go over and just, like, hold out one of the vials that has, like, the ink stuff and, like, show it to her.
She holds out a hand to, like, grab it, and then if you allow her, then she'll bring it up to her eye and just sort of look intently at it.
Yeah.
She swishes it back and forth. Sort of like this sort of blood-pudding texture now.
While she's observing that, Chedomir wants to, I guess, medically examine her to see, like, how beat up and dinged up she is, if at all.
Roll medicine.
Yeah.
She, like, swishes it back and forth, and you hear the...
She is also kind of looking for, like, if she's cut, is she bleeding? Or is it black ooze? 10.
She appears fine. She gives the vial back. Weird stuff. But pretty on par for your adventuring life, I suppose.
Yeah. Honestly, for me, even that's weird. But learn new things every day. What are you doing?
With a 21 perception, you do notice something. The world around you is in this sort of grayscale. You even see like potted plants here and there, but everything's monochrome. You and Mira still have color. You're totally fine. You can see the color in Mira's, elven eyes. Everything else, that or the fucking cushions of that chair and the lounge seats in this place are just designed to be gray, which you highly doubt. Everything's gray.
Maybe they just have an aesthetic crash.
I mean, I would know if they have or don't have it. Mira doesn't seem to point this out. She just goes back to looking through the papers.
Chedomir picks up one of the cushions on the couch and just like lifts it up and drops it back where it was.
Acts like a cushion.
They don't seem to be like fleshy or anything around here.
No. This all feels normal.
What if she cuts the plant?
cuts like a pine would.
So what's with the papers?
I'm looking to see if your guys' target is involved in any of this.
Aiden.
Yeah. I don't ever remember any mentions of him being a mage, but if someone is doing this shit to us, it has to be him.
Out of game real quick. What was his history with Connor? Did he said like what type of magic or things he was involved with? Did he?
He was a scientist, an alchemist, a researcher. He was, as far as either he or Preston were aware, he was not a mage. You don't get to be in a high circle if you're a mage. Outside of the Seekers or the Executors.
He was more inclined with biological, alchemical things, less magic directly, if I remember correctly.
Okay, well...
Check information on, like, the mortuary, maybe?
let's see. I'll close up.
Messing with the bodies that nobody wouldn't notice. If there's a mortuary around here.
She closes up the portfolio and just stacks it on one side and begins opening up and just paging through another one.
Can I assist her in looking?
Sure. One of you, we'll just say you, roll for advantage in investigation.
Investigation. Beep and then the boop and then the ba ba bow.
Nat 20. Nice.
I found the exact file.
Bring this up to me later, because there's something I want to mention with that. So you both begin going through this sort of it's like a U, but it's like been pulled, apart. It's like sort of like a, I don't know, an eyebrow, I guess. Eyebrow, sort of curved clerk's area. Just getting no mortuary. No. Found it. I don't think this is the complete edition, but take a look at it.
Alright. What am I looking at?
You two begin. You actually just straight up like separate the contents of it into two separate halves, and then you both begin paging through.
Oh, sorry. I should have mentioned this beforehand. What other entrances are there to this room right now?
So, it'll be so much faster for me to draw this.
Yeah. So, hallway we came from, room we're in. Is there a window in here as well?
So, this is the hall you came from. This is the receptionist desk. There's a rectangular room. There appears to be a central staircase. Another door here.
Probably spelled approach wrong.
You spelled it right.
Doop doop.
So another door. And then something, just an open area here, which has like seats and such. Or like a lounge area, I guess. Yeah.
This would be going back a step or two just before the investigation thing. Could she put like a sofa and maybe some chairs, just barricade like this way over here?
If you want.
Yeah, just caution in case something pops out. It'd probably come from the staircase, but cover your exits.
The door's open both ways, you know this though, so.
So they could just open it inwards. Never mind, whatever, go back to the investigation thing.
Alright. With a nat 20 investigation, you begin paging through it, again separating the thick portfolio into two separate halves. And then both of you paging through it. And it's something of anomaly is what you pick up on. The people that are entered into these, papers, there's sort of a standardized form layout. Name, gender, time of passing, place of origin, and then location at which they died, cause of why they died, and where they sent the body. For most of them, where they send the body is pretty uniform. Either they get sent back to where they came from, or they get sent to the graveyard here. There's several points of notice where it just says reserved -AH. And you come across several of these.
Who reserves a corpse?
Well, I don't have anything. You have something?
How do you even reserve a corpse? Yeah, here. She shows her like the specific points of this was reserved, this wasn't.
Let's see.
I feel like you have the book around just because you like the shuffling paper sound.
I have a notebook of loose papers.
It's very convenient.
These are the maps, the original maps of the Hilllands and attack patterns.
Ooh.
Let's see. What the hell?
They can reserve bodies?
Well, think about it like this: you come to the Cradle. What's the chances that your family wants your body back? Send you to a place like this. Otherwise, they probably just go to the graveyard, according to all this shit I just read. So, I guess
it's not a super secret thing, or else they wouldn't have written down that it was reserved. They would have just said it's in the grave.
Who would care?
Yeah. Does it mention? Do you think we could find like where specifically it was sent to? Or
we're not gonna find it at this court set. This is just one floor.
Yeah.
We gotta get to like some archives room or the I don't know, head surgeon or something. Someone that was in charge.
You find a map of this place?
Nope.
That'd be easy. Head surgeon probably be near the main operating room if they're needed. Archives would probably be down.
I'm pretty sure a place like this doesn't have a basement. It's sort of built onto a cliff.
Exactly.
Well, I can just all I know is we're not on the ground floor, so ground floor would probably be our best bet.
Mm-hmm. Does the staircase go down or go up? Or both?
It only goes down.
It only goes down. Oh, cool. Well, we can't... you can't really tell you're on the top floor. When
you could when you looked out the windows.
Yeah. Were we on the top floor?
You are on the
if
top
I go
floor.
back there. Yeah. We're at the tippy top. This would be too easy. Did I see any signs saying like, "Oh, you're in this part of the Shellbridge Cradle"?
From the window perspective you had, you didn't see any other of the buildings.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fine.
Mira grabs her bow. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
You take point.
Up over here. Yeah.
I mean, waking up in a random fucking place after getting tricked by some fucking magic. That's really getting on my nerves.
Yeah, that happens. You're handling it pretty fine, though.
I'm just getting more and more pissed.
Focus that. Focus that on weird ink monsters, if we bump into those. That did happen, I'm not crazy.
I mean, you have the proof for it. I don't think you're crazy, especially with all the shit we keep running into. You both begin going down the stairs. I imagine stealthily.
No, I'm just gonna go around banging pots and pans.
Well, the thing is, I do need you to say it, because if not, I will assume otherwise.
Fair enough. Snarky comments aside, here is stealth check.
18 and 19 for Mira.
Okay, solid. The people that are good at stealth are good at stealth. Who would have thunk it?
Indeed. You two begin stepping down the staircase, coming across similarly arranged rooms. Again, just an obvious clerk desk, and then two sort of hallways to the left and right of them.
While we're doing this, can I check to see if Mira's mantle's broken or not?
Yeah, you can just look over. It seems fine.
Okay, continue.
And sort of going over. down and down. Not seeing anything, really. You go down
like
further.
To the staircase.
I will say that there are plates that sort of tell you which floor you're on, and you see 4th floor. The one you depart, you go down to the 3rd floor. Again, both begin going down and down. And then I need you to make me a dexterity saving throw.
Cool. I'm good at those because I have a shield.
Well, Mira rolled a 12, and you rolled a 25. How fitting.
That's just barely enough.
The staircase that you're on begins. It gives you a familiar feeling of like a rumble, and then a pulse. Mira doesn't seem to feel the first one, but she does notice the second one. And you both look, as you're both stepping, you're both wondering, earthquake, monster, stepping up, what, who knows.
After the second one, Chedomir probably would have put up her hand, like, wait a second.
You both stop. And then the staircase steps that you both are on begin curving, so popping as if from underneath. One that pushes you forward, and one that pushes her backwards. Sort of like a puzzle trick, almost. That the staircase... And you hear Mira saying, "Shit!" And that's all you hear from her from that point. As the staircase actually closes up behind you. Leaving just... stonework. It's like playing Minecraft and you put in a staircase around it. It's upside down. It's like that. It's a bigger.
I'm trying to think of what this is reminding me of, but I cannot place it.
You don't seem to hear anything from the other side.
How thick does the stone seem to be?
Very solid.
Considering this place can warp and shift and probably teleport and other magical bullshit. I don't even think there's... This might just be a wall now leading somewhere else. There could not be a staircase here.
There's obviously doors that lead to each floor. It's not just open. The ones that you've been going down have just been propped open. But this one is closed and then it just... opens up.
What do I have in my bag right now that I am willing to just like chuck around the corner? Where the fuck is my bag? There's my bag. I'm being stupidly paranoid. I toss down a lit torch like through the doorway to see if anything happens.
Yeah, that's a bit more representative of the case, or the staircase.
Well, down the staircase.
You chuck it down the staircase to go further past. It just begins rolling down. Just keeps going.
She goes down the staircase.
You begin walking down the staircase, following past your torch, and then you come down to another floor. But with a 21 passive perception, you note that the 2F that indicates second floor is now 2F-1 on this metal engraved plate.
That's just like a naming -1, or is this place fucking with me? Let's find out. Does it seem to have like a labeling of what is on this floor, like 3rd floor, autopsies? Shit like
nope,
that. Just
2F-1.
Okay. She makes a mental note of that. That is probably, yeah. She checks through the... You said there was a doorway, right?
Yep.
Or was it just still going down? Okay. She checks through there.
There's always more going down. You look through the doorway, and you're greeted with, again, a relatively architecturally same layout as the previous floors you saw and have been on. One door is open of the two double doors on the bottom, the swinging, medical hospital doors. The one on the left, in regards to the map.
But nothing else in there.
Nothing else in there. Obviously the corks, yes, but yeah.
She attempts to stealthily head over to the clerk desk, like trying to break line of sight, trying to just not make a lot of noise, and get over there and check the papers to see if it's like similar to what we found before.
Roll me stealth.
Question mark?
You stealth over and begin looking at opening the drawers of the court desk. And instead of finding, dossiers of patients, deceased notes, official reports, and documentation, you pull out a portfolio and just sort of set it, and you open the first page, and it just says one letter, I. Then you
open the entire portfolio? Or no?
Well, no. Page. Second page, you see it sort of written horizontally. Want. Next page.
The next word is out. I'm gonna flip my shit.
It is out.
This is bullshit. Have I ever seen Mira's handwriting?
I don't believe you have. I don't think she's ever actually written anything in your guys' presence.
Yeah. It's downside. I really wish I did so I could see if this is her handwriting or some shit. Time fucking magic. I go to see the two hallways are there that, like, in the previous floor, I would have came out of one of the hallways. There are two hallways there, similar to the previous one, right?
Yes.
Looking down them doesn't seem to be just, like, identical layout.
No.
Do they seem to just go off forever, or?
No. They seem to be... They still are just straight out, just chutes. But instead of having, like, iron-doored cells or anything like the floor you were on, they seem to be just sort of independent, sort of hospital little cubicles. Privacy curtains and all.
Left or right? 1, 2. We're going left.
As you go to the left door, the one that has its doors open, you're about to step towards it and then it shuts. Not slamming you on your nose and face or anything.
And that was rude. I'm just trying to see what's
the other one
on here.
It seemed that at the same time, simultaneously, the other one opened. And then you look at that one, and then that one shuts closed, and then this one opens. And then you look back to this one, and then just back and forth, just open, close, open, close, open.
What if I look at like a couch? Does it suddenly jump around?
No, it doesn't even matter if you're looking at it. That's just for the initial time.
I was making a joke.
I don't think now's the time to be making jokes when you're in an insane asylum.
It's how I deal with stress.
Fair enough.
Anyways.
Eventually, the one in front of you remains closed, and the other one's open now.
Well, now I want to go through this one because you don't want me to. She says that literally out loud. If she just pushes against it, it doesn't have, or it doesn't give.
Nope.
Or she tries to pop it open with the spear.
Do you want to?
Yes.
Roll me your strength.
Similar to last time where I had my dex as well, because the spear now.
Yep, same spear.
Beep, beep, beep. Don't break my shit.
16. You managed to pry it open, pulling it inwards as opposed to the outwards way it was slamming and shutting. You're once again greeted by the hallway, except you note that it's back to its sort of solid with flesh topping it aesthetic. Bone with flesh over it. So
Am I able to... If I let go of this door, does it feel like it's just like trying to close and it'll just close back up, or is it just open?
no, no, it's just open.
Okay, she's going to leave that where it is for a second, go over to the other door and see if it leads down a similar or same path.
It's mirrored, but this one is a similar layout and design, except it's not bone with flesh over it. It's just normal looking.
Do I want to go down the hallways or do I want to go that? Best bet is ground floor. She shouts down both the hallways, just like, hey, or some kind of greeting, just see if there's any reaction there.
You hear your hey bounce back at you as it hits, the acoustics bounce back to you. But other than that, no response.
She is going to go downstairs.
You leave the two hallways.
Fleshy stairs.
You leave the two hallways and begin descending back down the stairs. Take step by step, and then you're greeted with 2F-2.
Shouldn't the numbers be going down if you're going down? Is it like just a mirrored receptionist room?
Yep.
I check to see if there's the same dossier in the same spot.
Yep. Right there where you left it. On the previous floor, at least.
Can I take a page out and write "so do I" and go down the stairs?
If you want.
Yeah.
You grab the first page and write "so do I." You go back down the stairs. 2F-3.
I go back and see if the paper that I wrote on is there.
It's
or if the dossier's there at all.
It's all still there. The "so do I" is sort of just left where you put it, but you note that there's writing on the backside of it now. Find me.
I write where. And then I guess I'll just go down the stairs again because it's the only way I know how to trigger this thing.
2F-4. You see written on the next page this time. It just says, at the heart.
Now for the question that I probably won't get an answer to, at least not easily. Who are you? And do you know me? Let's go with that. And do you know me? And she goes down the stairs again.
You begin going down the stairs again. You return and find written on the
2F-5 now.
Yeah. You return and go to the pages that you've been writing on and find written on the back. My name is Delvit.
Delvit?
And no. I'll type it for you.
I spelled vit, not that.
Delvit.
Have you seen any seekers or other people? And she'll go downstairs again.
2F-6. I've seen 2 seekers.
I really need to say, can you describe shit? What did they look like?
2F-7. One was an elf with a bow. The other I couldn't tell, but she had a bow as well.
Female.
I mean, I can tell you right now, there's only 2 female seekers that came in with you, and only one of them had a bow.
Yeah. Was the other one an elf?
No.
No, the only elf seeker is just Mira.
Yeah, don't tell this guy that.
Why not? Why not just tell him everything? Oh, hold on. He sent me a thing. Oh, he sent me the name. That's what it is. Anyways. Elf bow. Dun 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 dun. Brain stopping. There you go. What's this guy's handwriting look like?
Shaky.
Like, uh-huh.
Not chicken scratch, if that's what you're wondering. It has actual form to it. Not calligraphy by any means. But it's a bit more advanced than an engineer's handwriting. Which is, you know, very functional.
Because I'm technically an engineer.
Yeah, well, I also have engineer's handwriting, so don't worry. Our writing's for function, not for looks.
Mm-hmm. So, she writes, "Why are you here and how long have you been here?" And goes up the stairs this time, just for funsies.
You go up the stairs and back to the dossier. The previous response is not there. Nor is your writing.
Okay, so going down is pressing send, effectively.
Effectively.
Alright, she goes down 2 floors.
Yeah, you go down 2 floors. 2F-8. I'm here because I'm sick. And I've always been here.
Did you grow up here? And how old are you?
To F-9. I did. I've grown a lot while I was here. I'm 18.
What are you sick with?
To F-10. I don't know how to say it. I've only heard it referred to as F-O-D.
Is this a term Cheddar might have heard one of her hunter associates mention in the past? As like either a psychological thing or like a physical thing or a curse or something like that. Like maybe one of her alchemist teachers mentioned it at some point, or maybe somebody from a distant land that came to join us mentioned it as their cousin had it.
Roll me medicine.
Medicine. I don't think.
I will tell you that this is immensely rare, both in-game and in real life.
16 probably doesn't cut immensely rare.
It's too vague. You have 3 letters, which can stand for anything.
F-O-D, 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 F-O-D. They want to say disease. They probably say disorder. Oh. You're right. F and O could seriously be anything. Dysphoria, dysmorphia. Nah, it could be anything as well. Have you seen the ink creatures? 2F-11.
2F-11. I'm sorry.
Why?
Two F-12. They're my fault.
I don't want to write that sentence out, but I also feel it's weird. How about this? Yeah. Am I inside of you? Question mark.
Two F-12. I believe.
Shouldn't it be 13?
I lose count. 13. 2F-13. Yes. I'm afraid.
Can you help me find the others that are inside? Please. Por favor.
2F-14. Yes. But only if you kill me.
Have others tried?
Two F-15. There are no others.
The only thing in here is this dossier that I keep writing on, right? Like there's not other information papers or anything.
I never said that.
Well, that's why I was asking, because I didn't know.
I cannot tell you information that I do not know you want to look at. I cannot read your mind.
That's why I was mentioning it. There's other things like just like information on other patients or bodies or whatever that were in here, right?
There are. Plenty.
I want to try and see if I can find this guy's case file.
Roll me your investigation.
I miss you already because it's gonna be a 2. It was a 3.
You managed to find it. Not... The point of the roll was for speed. Not for effectiveness. You find it in one of those, I don't know, third to last drawers. You open it up. And then it's just simply labeled as permanent residence. You find Delvit, who has no last name.
Was he just dumped here by his family?
You read through his patient report. He was left here after the healers in his town could do him no better. This was his only and last hope for his disease, as it were. not a disease, a disorder. It is referred to in this report as FOD. Flesh Ossean disorder.
How do you spell the middle word?
OSSEIN. There are plenty of staff notes on the margins and in the designated note writing areas that there are concerns that he will eventually become Ossean. He will become bone entirely.
I now know what this disease is. I didn't look it up. I know what this disease is.
I know. I've told it to you guys before.
Yeah. Yes.
It's referred to as FOP in that sense. It's a very rare disease, and I don't wish it upon anyone.
It's... Yeah. So... But she can glean the effects and what this does from this dossier, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, ow, my toe. I ran over it with my chair. So... Makes sense. This kind of thing amplified by void magics and infection to become this. How long's the lifespan for this kind of thing? You know what, that's not important. Imagine lifespan is very short though. Very, very missable. Did you separate me from the other seeker in the stairwell? Boop, bap, bap.
2F-14? 16? 2F-16.
Does the sign still say the same thing?
Still keeps changing from 2F- and then the number changes.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
Is something controlling you or affecting your actions?
2F-17. No. I just want to live.
No. I just want to live. But you want me to kill you. She says out loud, "Can you hear me?" And then goes down the stairs.
2F-18. Yes.
But I really need to follow this up. Getting a car. Oh yeah, no, she is getting a workout. Can you hear me? And but you can't speak. Well, this isn't her mouth. That was it. I'm probably wasting time. What can I do with this? Will you attempt to point others towards me if I agree to meet you at the heart?
2F-20, I believe now.
Yep.
I can't control it.
Great. Well, there's nothing to be had here by asking questions. Well, there's probably a lot. She is going to go down one of the hallways.
Which
I
one?
don't feel like it matters. Well,
The normal
now
one
you
or the
question
flesh?
it.
The normal one or the flesh one?
Normal one or the flesh one? Flesh one most likely leads to the heart. The normal one could possibly lead to more about Aiden. I'm gonna go down the normal one first.
You go down to the normal one. All the privacy curtains are drawn in this, and you begin walking down it. And as you get to the end of the hall, just sort of wondering, you look out the window, and then you see your reflection, and then you see the privacy curtain behind you go open. Laying, awaiting there is an operating table. Well, a gurney, which I guess is an operating table for some.
Hopefully not. Hopefully it can get to the right place. Anyways. Anyone on it? Anything on it? No. Just clean gurney.
Just a clean gurney.
I go over and see if there are belts and straps on it.
There are.
Okay. I'm gonna cut those before I do anything else.
Go ahead. You slice them.
I don't think they have the technology for like IV drips. I don't think. Do they? Are there like IV drips around the shit?
In more advanced places, yeah. This is one such.
Okay.
As morbid as this place is, it is probably the frontmost frontier for the twins.
And a decent place for everywhere else. Well, decent depending on perspective. Beside the point. Does it seem like the IV drip or all the utensils that would be around this gurney, does it seem like normal or does it seem affected in some way?
There are no utensils or IV drips.
Nothing? Alright.
There's just the rolling surgical operating table, but there's no implements on it.
Is there like a file, like files they would put at the end of the beds of just like, this is your patient?
There's an empty clipboard with an empty form there.
Okay. She sits on the gurney. Like crisscross applesauce sits.
You sit upon it.
I imagine nothing happens.
Nothing does.
Oh. I can't really like see the sun or anything that I would use to determine time by looking out the window, right?
No.
Yeah, that'd be too easy. Because her mantle's been broken and she's probably been exposed to this stuff for a long time, but she doesn't know exactly how long. Can she approximate time of how long her conversation was?
You probably reckon 25 minutes. 25 minutes until now, where you are on the gurney.
Okay. So why did this one appear? Is my brain instantly went to, is there writing on the curtain?
There is not. That's some escape room shit.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
it's like get a black light, flash it on there, the secret writing and shit.
No, my first escape room, we wasted the first 15 minutes of our hour, not 15 minutes, 10 minutes of our hour, because we didn't flip the blinds one way to the other, which told us the code.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. It was
also very well hidden clue.
It was me and my friends' fault, but I don't give a shit. Anyways.
Okay. She's gonna continue down the hallway as she was going before the gurney.
Wait, what?
She's gonna continue going down the hallway that she was going, or the path she was going before she bumped into the gurney.
This is at the end of the hall.
Oh, this is at the end of the hall. Okay. She will go back.
You go back?
Go back to the receptionist area. Yes. Sometimes there's nothing to find. Receptionist area probably isn't different, is it?
No.
Alright, she goes down the flesh hall.
You go down the flesh hall while the privacy curtains are drawn. You look out this window, and from here you see the rest of the cradle. It's on the opposite side of the building. From here, it seems like you're still on the 3rd floor. And you see you see several other buildings. They're all very obvious. They all have this sort of hedge, garden, front yard surrounding all of them, making them all very obvious and prominent. From where you are, you see 3 other large, tall, standing buildings, and then several other not so tall, smaller ones.
Can I see people moving around in any of the windows? I doubt it, but...
Nope. Yeah. As you lean in, trying to see,
anything.
Yeah, anything. There's nothing out there. There's a road that carves through the cradle and then a central courtyard. You look at the benches lining the courtyard, the road it takes in, the gardens, or not gardens, yards in front of all of the buildings. There's nothing stirring. It is dead still. And as you lean away from it, you see your reflection change into an eyeball. Not one that encompasses the entirety of the glass pane of this window, but one that is basically the size of your head. And it's frantically moving around, sort of like REM, I guess. Just.
I think there's just a second of panic because it's just not what she expected.
I
imagine. And then it's just I'm inside of a flesh person. So yeah, it's kind of checks out.
And you hear behind you once again a privacy curtain open. This time, there's no gurney. This time, it's like a trap door. And a staircase that leads down.
I look to the eyeball and say, is this the right direction?
It doesn't even seem to notice you. It's still frantically looking about.
Don't want to piss him off. Because my gut says throw a dagger into the eyeball. That's only going to cause problems.
It's still only a reflection on a glass. It's not an actual eyeball.
Yeah, I know.
You can still see through it into the rest of the cradle.
Everything is early sign. Does it seem like wind is moving outside? Like signs of trees moving or smoke puffing or clouds rolling around?
Hard to tell in a mist.
Ah, damn it. This is some downhill shit. Oh, what is that game? What the fuck is that game?
Resident Evil, Silent Hill.
No.
Fatal Frame.
It was a different one. Involved that. It was more recent. It was kind of like Inception, but made evil and horrific. I'll find it later.
Visage. The intern room.
There's a lot of things that use eyeballs. Evil Within, thank you, O. 10 points to Gryffindor, or whatever house you're into. You're probably not into any of them. Anyways.
10 points to the Muggles.
Yeah. Muggles represent.
Who have guns.
Okay. Guns versus magic. I think
if guns fail, then enter nuke.
Yeah. Anyways, so the trapdoors, they have a staircase or a ladder?
It's a staircase.
I descend the staircase.
You descend the staircase. You find yourself descending down the central staircase that you're at before. Just going down it.
Again.
You see that this time, though, it says 1F.
Receptionist room, similar layout.
No. You open the doors to it and step in. It's much larger, much wider. There's multiple receptionist areas, lots of sort of waiting rooms, as it were, I guess. Is how to best describe it. Lounging areas, sitting areas. And
Manual.
as you begin, like, fully stepping into the center of it and looking around, you sort of see people apparate. These sort of ghostly visages, these apparitions. None quite so detailed as to distinguish, facial features or anything like that, but definitely enough to determine, height, race, gender, such. And the place just comes to life. Multiple receptionists working at different desks. Lots of people sitting around, coughing, wheezing, many of them missing limbs. And then you see off to the far end, sort of the front door of the place, just get thrown open, and people with gurney begin rushing and sprinting over to where the central staircase is, right past you. And you see that the only other person here with any detail or color is the young child laying on that gurney.
What's their condition seem to be from a glance?
Unconscious. With their arm in a gnarled manner. Craggly. It's like watching, like those gym accident videos of like someone overextending their legs or something, and then their arms are bent, or their legs are bent backwards underneath the gym equipment's machines. It sort of gives off that feeling. Something of, you can know there's something underneath that flesh that is broken. And it looks horrific without even having to cut it open.
Does it seem like an accident, like something fell on it, or like something
Something. It looks broken.
In some way.
It looks like I decided to place squiggles with his bone structure of an arm. And then threw a layer of flesh over it.
Can I attempt to follow them?
You may. You go over to that sort of square that you've been walking around. It's basically just a giant dumbwaiter. You step onto it as the sort of medical staff that were pulling this gurney. One of them shouts out in this sort of echoey voice, "Third floor!" And then someone echo back, "Got it!" And then you feel yourself get lifted up with this thing.
I want to, while it's pulling them up, just like watch the kid to see if he like kicks alive and starts ripping people apart. I feel like I don't really have to be watching for that, but like just see, I guess, the people's reaction to them. I forgot why this kid's different.
He's unconscious. He doesn't stir. The two medical staffs are like, "What are we gonna do? What do you mean, what are we going to do? We have to operate on it." This is what? The third time something like this happens, where he just has a burst? I mean, what are we going to do? I don't know. They eventually get to the third floor, and then pull off, and you begin following them. They go down that right, in relative to the map, bottom right hallway to the end of the hall, and then throw the gurney in. The privacy curtain gets closed. Do you intend to watch it?
Yes.
This operation?
Yeah. She walks around. Well, you can't really walk around a privacy curtain, can you? Does it go
No.
all the way around, or do you have to like open it?
It goes. There's only, imagine a square. That privacy curtain forms one of the sides.
Okay.
The rest is building.
She attempts to peek through.
You peek through and you see a number of surgical implements get busted out from assorted drawers and cabinets, sleeves here and there. Some water gets ran, soap. And you see this boy's arm get butchered open. Luckily, they have the kindness to give some anesthetic. But this chicken wing of an arm this boy unnaturally has gets cut open. Bones get busted and dragged out.
They just rearrange his arm to be proper again. Or
They basically have a number of growths that they cut away. And then take off excess flesh, if any is present, and then restitch it back up. Do you do anything? Or do you just watch?
What can she do?
Something. Anything.
There's not a ton that she can do. I don't know if she could do this, but it's one of the few things I think could happen is try using the mark to... My brain is saying numb the pain, which is a possibility, but it could also cause shit like frostbite, or to strengthen the base of the bones in some way, maybe? Make the frame strong so it doesn't break. But that feels like it'd probably be out of her league. Can I do some kind of like Arcana check to see if the second idea is completely out of her league?
I'll make you roll for that. I'm not sure if you want a boy whose bones randomly splinter and fragment to have stronger bones.
Now the idea is try to make it so that it doesn't fragment. How do I do that? I don't think I can.
And also, this is a boy. This is a vision of the past.
Yeah, but the shit from the past has impacted us in some way before, hasn't it? We got in a fucking bottom line randomly.
Indeed.
No, not the fragment one.
I have no right answers for this. I purposely didn't even bother to think of any. Because that leads me to desire certain results. You could just watch.
Anything that she has for healing, they probably have better. She wants to leave, like, where their, like, files or instruments would be. She wants to put one of her, like, healing potions, because she made 2 going into this, because having an emergency healing potion is never bad. So she placed one of those where somebody would see it. And see if that has any effect here. If anything, that'd be just exceptionally temporary and probably not help a ton, but it's something. If it does anything at all.
You push aside the privacy curtain. The 2 operators, not even seeming to notice it in their surgical focus. And you sit down and leave behind one of your healing potions. And take a step back. And just continue watching. He's going to die. What do you mean he's going to die? I mean he's going to die. Look how pale he is. Listen, this is perfect. I thought we ran out of these. The other operator shrugs. Use it. Pour it into the boy's mouth. At this point, all the bones have been broken and reset back into what is a normally humanoid arm. And as the boy drinks, it begins reforming, and the wounds begin closing slightly. And he regains some color to him. Color which is quite obviously regained in the midst of monochrome environment. There. Look at that. Even fix the bone for us. Okay. Now we just stitch it back up, right? Just stitch it back up. I didn't realize you had a stash. A stash? Yeah, a stash. We've been out of those for weeks. Where'd you get it? Yeah, God's be watching, you know? God's be watching. Vrusha, guide our hands. Now hand me the thread. And then...
This second.
And then... The world around you just... You're standing on nothingness. It all just turns to gray speckles and particles. Like spores, like pollen in the wind. Before... recoalescing. You appear to be in someone's office. And...
Is there like a name tag on a desk?
No.
Okay.
Well, there is, but not one you can read. The world is very vague. And so is this figure sitting at the desk. You see the boy, grown a bit. His arm is fine. And then he seems... You jump into the middle of this conversation between this silhouette, shadowy person who just has a white lab coat or a doctor's coat over him, and this boy sitting directly in front of his desk. And there is 2 portfolios laid out in front of the doctor, the individual. These are the options, young man. And with no one around, it is up to you to decide for yourself what you want. And you see the boy look between the 2. This boy who looks no more than 10, 11 at most. It is entirely up to your decision, boy. I could recommend both with equal confidence. Both professionally, medically, and personally. But it's up to you.
Am I able to peer at the files, the portfolios?
They're both open and both sort of turned over to face him, the kid. You don't really... There's an abstract in front for both. And it's basically 2 different medical treatments. One is simply, for lack of better term, acquire a donor for his bones. And then through assorted alchemical and magical means, ones that are sanctioned within this cradle, see if it has a result. As they cut open his bone, his arm bone, and surgically replace it, and then let magic and the gods sort it out, and hope that he doesn't have any more problems.
Does it seem like, if I look over the child's body real quick, any parts that are exposed, does it seem like it's only like his one arm that's really kind of fucking up, or does it seem to have scars all over himself?
He seems to have scars all over him.
Okay. And the second one?
The second option is sort of a, how to say, what's the word? Dialysis of
Right.
sorts, but not of blood, but of his bones marrow. That they'll, through assorted chemically corrosive means, purge it out, while constantly using alchemical means to regrow it rapidly. Both treatments seem to acknowledge that the problem lies somewhere within his arm. His bones, rather. My bad. Somewhere within his bones, across his body. This is a matter of which one would he prefer as a treatment.
You're just saying arms because the last scene involved just his arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just substitute arm in for body. So the ideas are, for the first one, is it just replacing the entire skeleton or just his problematic areas?
They're going to test. Start with his arm and then see if anything happens.
Well, you can't exactly replace a spine. At least not easily, I would imagine. And then the dialysis one. Cut away a week.
The boy looks between the two of them, and he's obviously unsure. He doesn't know which one to pick. Neither of them sound like particularly pleasing options. And it is something of note that the first treatment does not say a dead donor. And remember that this boy is only 10. Or so.
And here's the problem that comes in. I have to go off rough medical shit that I learned mostly from watching TV shows, which sometimes are fairly inaccurate.
That's the basis for all this, in some sense.
I had to guess the first one, the body would have to be accepted, which I'm guessing can be finagled with magic and potions and shit. But the body just completely rejects it, then it just rejects it. Whereas the marrow one... So the marrow one, they essentially just burn out the stuff and have it regrow in. Or do they substitute in different marrow?
Nope, they just have it regrow in, hopefully better.
Hopefully better. But the problem is, I think the problem with this disease, I haven't done research in this one, and I slightly regret it, but I've never been morbidly curious enough. If that's just a base genetic issue. If it's just in its genetics, burning it out.
I will tell you that this is not the same as the other one, as a real life equivalent. The real life equivalent doesn't actually have your bones pop and fragment out.
This sounds much more aggressive.
Much more
Whereas the other
active.
one's just passive slowly. Yeah, slowly over time your muscle turns to bone, if I remember correctly. The first one sounds harmful to others. The second one sounds like, at least in my opinion, if you burn it out, it'd probably just come back. Possibly stronger, but I won't hedge my bets on that because I don't have a hero there. I feel like Chedomir is just like effectively leaning on the back of this chair, like just looking over his shoulder, looking at these things. Mumbling to herself, jumping around everywhere. It's all a matter of if you're willing to let other people get hurt for something that can help you. In the end, this doesn't exactly prove that it'll help you either, because I'm inside a flesh building right now. Is there any type of like background knowledge? She probably wouldn't have this, but any type of background knowledge she has for situations like this of purging an alien, purging something out of the system in similar manners, most likely through blood rather than through marrow, because marrow would be exceptionally rare. Oh, similar to like the mutagen shit for the blood hunter.
Roll me background.
That's it. Best bet to get.
Of course, the catch is you're not a blood hunter.
Exactly. Her group has history and she knows vaguely of it, but not enough apparently.
You don't know.
Or into that way. Yeah.
This is definitely not your field of expertise.
Yeah. If Connor was here, he might know.
Maybe. He doesn't tend to experiment on children, though.
Yeah.
Only kills them.
Miss the blood into them. Yeah, he only murders them in cold blood, whether he wants to or not, and he probably didn't want to, but he also did.
Yeah.
Alright, that's the big problem. Personally, I don't know if the second one would work, but I don't know if Chedomir would go with the first, purely because, like you said, it doesn't say a dead donor, it just says acquiring bones. Chedomir would, I guess, try to whisper in the kid's ear, see if that has any effect, of ask them where they get the first option from.
The boy, like, blinks and sort of slightly tilts its head in your direction. Doctor? Yes, boy? For the left treatment? Yes. Where did the bones come from? Delvet, you don't need to worry yourself on such details.
It's important.
Please, sir. You said this is my decision, and I want to know. I did say that, didn't I? We'd be going across the way to the orphanage ward and seeing if anyone would volunteer. And if no one volunteers, then we'll have one volunteer. I don't want that. This is my curse, not someone else's. Well, if that's the case, then, boy. The man reaches, unleads himself from the back of his chair and closes the left portfolio, draws it back. It seems, then, your choice is quite apparent, if that is the case, but I will warn you, it will not be pleasant. That's fine. I can handle it.
When he says that, Chedomir puts a hand on his shoulder. Trying to be reassuring.
You, Faith, pass the room.
Yeah.
I hope so, Delvet. I truly do hope so. And then, once more, the world becomes not dust in the wind amidst the darkness of nothingness. And then, once more, does it coalesce back to something else. You see the boy, grown sometime further, 13 or so, and he's sitting. He seems to be sitting outside in some sort of garden somewhere else. There's some other people here, some other patients, as well as some staff. But there's something you note. Call it a hunter watching a pack of animals, in a weird sense.
They're avoiding him.
They're avoiding him. Some are avoiding him. The staff. While the other patients seem to be observing him and whispering to one another. What's your passive perception? 21, right?
21. Yes. You made a sheet this last session, you know.
Yeah, but I can't open it while I'm recording.
Fair enough. But yeah, 21.
With a 21 perception, you notice one of them exchange something with another one underneath the table. You, in your ghostly projection, you look over. And you see what it is the man gave the other man. It's rather well crafted for the place of origin, I suppose. A nice shiv.
Does it look like they're like talking and looking over at him? I believe you said that actually.
I did.
Yeah.
Eventually, the boy shakily and feebly gets up from where he was sitting next to the fenced perimeter that overlooks the logger's burrow. And he begins walking back to some semi-distant, tall double doors. As one of the patients shouts in this ghostly projection of a memory, an echo, "Hey kid, come over here."
Is it possible to see more or less a path through a crowd that avoids eyesight that can lead him towards the door instead of wherever the fuck that guy is going?
The guy's not going anywhere. He's saying sat at his table.
The guy's telling him to come here. Sorry, words in head backwards.
Also, there's not a crowd here at all. There's a few other patients and a few other doctors. All of them scattered in different duos. This boy, the only one alone. Just come here, kid. Got a fun story to tell you involving that doctor over there. And he points off.
Chairman just stands in front of him and says, "Don't do that."
He doesn't seem to hear you as he approaches.
Come on, like 5 seconds ago I was able to talk to you and tell you to look into bone things, and now you're not listening.
You do realize when you say, "Don't go over there," you're like double his height.
Yeah.
He approaches. Doesn't ever come fully to the table. So, listen here, kid. You want to hear a funny story about that doctor right over there?
If I try to touch the table, does my hand just go through it? Okay, continue.
I hear that doctor over there, he keeps candy in his pockets. Little treats for good patients, you know. Yeah, so what? I'm dying for some sweets, but I come near him, he's gonna be on guard. So listen here. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out this shiny looking crystal. See this thing? You're a lot more free than me. You'll get a lot more use out of it. So, how about you go over there, you get a lollipop from me, huh? You're a good kid, right? That's what we've been hearing. And if not, then just, and he twiddles his fingers, use a 5-finger discount. You get the lollipop, you gives it to me, I give you this, and you do something fancy with this. More valuable than a lollipop, but trust me when I say I'm dying for something sweet. Come on, you probably just walk up to the guy and ask. Come on, help a fellow out. Okay, fine. We'll be here. Alright. He walks off to the doctor. He goes up to the doctor and he just straight out asks, "Is it true? I heard that you have candy." I do. Did you... David, did you want some... Here. You don't have to hear stories about other people, though, but come on now. He holds out, like, like a little handful of, like, 4 or so lollipops. Go on, don't be shy. Thank you, Doctor. You should be getting back to your ward, though. It's not wise to be staying around here before this goes to sunset. Yeah, I will. I just want to spend a little more time. Okay. Don't let me keep you.
Trevor wants to lean down and tell him to mention the other kids over there.
Other kids?
Yeah, the not kids. Sorry, patients. Sorry, in my head it's locked in that everyone's kids because he's a little kid right now, a little younger.
So you would not survive the Showbridge Cradle.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't seem to hear you.
Can she take her dagger and just try marking the ground?
For what?
Just see if it marks.
It causes, like, a gust of wind, but it doesn't carve into the ground or anything.
Mm-hmm. Can she try to just kick up a bunch of dirt around him?
Around Delvid?
Yeah, around Delvid when he's near the, I believe, doctor.
Roll me charisma.
What I'm trying to do is just, like, if I could get him coffee, and then the doctor might just be like, oh, let's go inside and make sure you don't hurt yourself. Damn it.
Your force of personality and sheer will of essence does not seem to be enough.
Okay.
Delvid returns back to the man. Oh, gods, kid. 4? Mind if I have all of those? Like, I know the deal was 1 for 1, but come on. Like, I just saw you right now. You got that literally candy from a baby. Yeah, sure, here. And he goes up to the table and sits down this little handful. Can I have the, Yeah, sure. Come here. Come take it.
Chedomir has her shield at the ready to try and block something, even though ghostly apparition bullshit probably won't work, but she's ready.
As Delvic goes over to reach for this shiny crystal-y thing, which is something I positively adored as a child. Shiny little rock called pyrite, also known as fool's gold.
Unbelievably fitting.
The man lets go and just lets the pyrite fall and grabs Delvid's hand and simply puts his other hand over Delvin's mouth and drags him closer. Careful, kid. You don't want to make a noise, or my friend here is going to show you what the other wards are like. And the guy just sort of flashes the very tip of the shiv. Thanks for the candy, though. Really appreciate it. So we've been hearing that you've been here a while, right, kid? Delvet, you can see it, his eyes is freaking out. And he shakily, fearfully nods yes. A while, huh? I also hear a lot of stuff happens to you, right? You gotta operate on you a lot and such. Once again, Delvin nods, shakily. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of fancy stuff going into you. So I hear. I wonder if, I don't know, maybe some of us other saps could use that stuff, huh? Wouldn't that be something? So here's what's gonna happen, kid. You're gonna follow me. You say anything. You shout, you run, you try to break free. You don't gotta worry about going back to the war tonight. or ever again. You, me, my friend are gonna go take a walk through the garden now. Just right over there. Across the hedge. Here they're gonna tear it down soon this side. That's gonna be a real shame. So let's go get one last glimpse at it, huh? Might calm me down. Alright.
This isn't gonna work, but I want to try shield bashing this guy in the face.
Roll me charisma.
Better?
I'll give you a contested roll.
24. No.
You rolled a 5.
Hey, it's something. It's something.
It's more than something.
Yeah.
As you attempt to as you shield bash him, it does not shield bash him, actually. But instead, his eyes shoot open. Like someone realizing they left the stove on. A sudden realization. And then in this moment of startling, he lets go Delvet entirely. And his friend notices this as well. You alright? And Delvet sees his friend also acting confused and takes this opportunity and runs. Runs to the doctor he had just talked to. Tears streaking down his face all the while. The man's companion grabs him by the shoulder and shakes him. What happened to you? Come on. Get yourself... We gotta go. We got it. The guy's just stunned. And he's just staring off at something. Something so far off. And he starts smiling. Crackily. Man. Oh, it's so cold here. Oh, I'm as free as a kite. Snap out. What the hell happened to you? And it's at this point,
just like looking at the shield.
Delvet's like crying into the leg of this man, into the doctor, who immediately tells his colleague to go get the security. Look at the sky. How do skies get like that? How do skies get like that? If you want, roll me charisma.
Let's just see if I can knock the sense out of them so they don't try that again. Nope, that one's not. No.
Oh, fuck. What the hell? What's happening? Snap out of it. Oh, man. The man tucks, like, seeing his dazed friend, tucks the shiv and, like, just... It's like planting evidence, essentially. Tucks it into his friend's hand and makes him close up on it as some rough and tumble nurses come by over.
I'll take the ball.
He made me do it. He held a knife to me. The nurses don't seem to care as they both... One of them disarms the dazed shiv holding one. You hear some bones crunching in the process of disarming. Maybe a dislocation. But the guy doesn't even notice. This place is so pretty. Wow. And then the other guy, like, gives up handedly and doesn't get any bones broken or shoulder dislocated, and they both get let off. With Delvet crying into the pant leg of that one doctor.
Not as long as you think you are, kid. Apparently.
Whoever said he was smart.
Huh?
Whoever said he was smart.
Yeah. So does the world fade away into nothing?
No. Eventually the two get let off, and Delvet gets calmed down, and the doctor, sort of inquires as to the full details of what happened. Delvet brings him over to the table. The man says to keep the lollipops, and he sees the shining pyrite on the ground, picks it up, and says, "Keep this as well, Delvet. You did good." And when he finally personally puts the pyrite in Delvet's hand, he, grips it tightly, and then the world. And then,
everything.
no. Fading back once more. You see Delvet, a couple years older now, 15, 16 or so. And he's sort of in the sitting room of that, like their sort of receptionist area. So like off over here. Oh, you see on the map, the left side there. He's sort of sitting there waiting. He has more scars, more stitches and things like that, but what can you do? He hears some shouting coming off from the closest double doors that lead down. And his eyes quickly go to it, and then he immediately looks down and away, like someone in trouble. The clerk, she notices Delvet acting as such and says, "It's fine, Delvet. They're just very concerned about you, is all." And then a fresh burst of incomprehensible shouting breaks through. "You wait here. I'll have a word with them for you." "Okay. Thanks, I guess." Bit of Owen in this guy. The clerk goes through the double doors, and then it quiets down after a few moments pass. And you're just sort of standing there in front of Delvet as he's sort of sat down by himself. And eventually the clerk lady comes back. "They're ready to see you now, Delvet." "Thank you." He stands up and begins going down, gently pushing aside the two double doors. And then you see one of a guy in a doctor's coat walk past Delvet, and Delvet hurriedly gets, steps aside and lets him pass. Guy gets a sort of a unamused sort of sneer at Delvet as he passes, but other than that, just walks past him. Delvet continues down to the end of the hall and towards another sort of silhouetted, white-coated apparition. "Hello, Delvet." Sort of Woodman speaks to him. "How are you feeling? It's actually been a while since anything's happened." I feel fine," he says as he's hopping up onto a gurney. "Well then, this will just be a nice, clean, routine inspection." "What was the shouting about?" "Just some disagreements I was having." "Disagreements?" "Oh yes. We are only mortal after all. We disagree." Delvet sort of rubs the series of scars that are formed along his arm. One of the scars you're very familiar with. About what?" "Oh, just the general treatment of patients and such like that." "What was the argument about?" "Yeah, he just... he means well. He means for the good of some patients, just not all." It goes quiet at that as, sort of routine checkup begins. You sort of notice something. And, well, roll me your insight. 14. This lady has something up her sleeve. This doctor. Just in the way she speaks. You're quite familiar with this with Noah. A hidden edge to her voice. Okay.
I was literally getting that vibe. Like, I was getting that vibe to the point where it's like, I almost wanted to use Primal Mark to see if I detected Faye.
Alright, no Delvet. It seems you're fine, although there are some concerns you have, from what I heard from the other doctors. What did you hear? That there are some nubs growing here, and she taps at 2 points on his other arm. But me and some other doctors have an experimental treatment. Something to make those go away before they grow bad. Would you like to try it? Sure. I mean, I've had so many experiments done on me at this point, right? So, what's another one? That's the spirit. Okay. And she goes to, like, say, a tist, or a vial rack off to the side on the counter there. And she pulls out 3 of them and hands them to Delvin. When you get back to the other ward, in the orphanage ward, just take one when you get there, one after supper, and one before you go to sleep. And then, afterwards, tomorrow morning, come see me. Okay? Sure. What's in this stuff? A lot of things go into these. Delvet. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Does it taste bad? No. I've purposely put some honey in there to make it a bit more easier to go down. I mean, he looks through it, this sort of yellow.
Can Chedomir look, from her knowledge of poisons, see if she can think of like any poison that would taste similar to honey, so that it's like, oh, you wouldn't notice this, or
Roll me alchemist tools.
Yeah. Bam. Nope. No
Man.
idea.
Man, you don't have.
I'm not.
Do you have an inspiration or something? I feel like you do.
No, I don't. I used it previously.
I thought I gave you all one at the end of last session.
Oh, marked.
Oh my god. That's been there this whole time.
It has. I almost wish I didn't know, because now it's just like, I could use this here, but now I
could use it now.
Hi, O, what's up? Your microphone just turned on.
And there it goes off again.
I thought he was gonna like pop in for some kind of joke. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna use that now and probably get.
And then we'll just be like, I gave it to you right now, and then you used it immediately. Yeah, sure.
Not that much better.
Yeah. There are a number of different poisons that could be honey related, but at the same time, that's like so immensely vague, you honestly don't know.
Yeah. Could be poison. It could be something that just I don't know. What would she be thinking of? Hurting him helps others. Helps them to discover the disease by having it amplify. It could be something just agitated and be like, oh, hey, we discovered that this element affects it, so if we reduce this element in patients, it might reduce it entirely, yabba dabba doo, that kind of idea. Is what I'm thinking could possibly be going on. I don't fucking know. I will let the scene play out for now.
The doctor hands Delvit the vials, and he sort of puts them on sort of like a pouch he has. Alright, I suppose that's it for now. Hopefully I don't have to see you again so soon. Well, other than tomorrow, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I got you. I'm gonna head back now then. You do that. Be seeing you.
Can Chedomir try to whisper in his ear to find the other doctor?
They're on me charisma. You get one freebie. Everything else is matters of creativity. He doesn't seem to hear you.
can't think of anything to do. The only else thing I can think of to do is knock the fucking things out of his hand, but then it's just like, ugh. Fuck it, she's gonna try that. Just try knocking him out of his hand. It's just like, oops, I dropped things.
Roll charisma.
Let's see what her action. Of course, that'd be charisma-based bullshit. Fuck. Damn, it's getting worse.
Force of personality. You try to swipe it out of his hands, knock him aside, something. Nothing happens as your hand passes through. Eventually, Delvet leaves, says goodbye to the clerk, and thanks her for what she did, and begins walking down the staircase, one that you're damn familiar with at this point.
Did the vials... No, that would probably tie into the alchemist check to see what kind of poisons it would be, but like, what's the like color of the stuff in the vials?
It's yellow.
What's the consistency of it? Well, I probably can't tell from just staring. Well, maybe.
You can't tell. It's pretty tight.
Not like that would help me at all. Why am I asking? Continue.
He leaves. And then he sort of goes down to another floor, down another, then he's at the ground floor. And then as he's, walking past, he sort of eyes all these people. Again, in various states of discontent. This might be the ward to hold all these patients, but in technicality, they have a residence hall somewhere else on the other side of the building. Not that you've ever seen it or gotten to it yet. This is the hospital part of their building. So Delvet continues going past all of them. All of them giving him looks. Some passive, some happy to see him, others not so much. He treats it all with relatively the same regard. And then he leaves, and you're so following him. He's just barely on the doors, the steps, the front steps leading into this place, when he hears his voice getting called. Delvet. He turns and... hello, sir. What can I do for you? Appears to be a doctor. Again, it's hard to tell which one's which. They're all sort of featureless. What do you have there? Oh, these are some treatments. I got some experimental ones. Are they? Yeah. Let me see them for a moment. Sure. Hand one over.
She's framing me for theft. Ooh.
Man. Sort of looks at. Did they say how this would help you? Yeah, they said that there's some, there's some nubs on growing on my arms right now, and that this would sort of squash them out, I guess, prevent them from growing. Is that so? Yeah. And when did they say to take this? One when I got back, one after supper, one before I went to bed. The man stops at that. And he shakes the vial. Holds it up. Can you leave these with me instead, Delvet? I think we could make these a bit better. I guess. Should I just keep one with me? To take when I get back, or... No, give me all of them. Okay. He hands them over. And then come see me tomorrow.
Can I see what this guy's vibe is? Like, why he's so interested in this?
You roll me insight.
Can I get a decent roll? No, I really can't.
Jam.
That's one that I actually have a positive in, too.
You can't tell this guy's vibe.
considering he's motionless, makes sense.
So am I seeing 2 doctors tomorrow morning, or see me first and we'll talk about whether or not you see the second one. Should I go back and tell? Shame, crashed it. Indeed. Should I go back and tell? No. It's getting late. Things are on their way out, and you need to get to supper. Go on then. I'll talk to her personally. Okay. You see the place just pulse outward from you. You're the epicenter of it. And you're in a different part now. A different time. The next day. And you see Delvit sitting in a similar not operating, but like sort of medical cubicle. And then there are 3 vials laid out in front of him. 3 different colors. One is the yellow one that he had before. Then one is purple. And then there's another one, which is sort of this very, very, like, it's basically see-through with a green tint. And he's just sitting there looking incredibly confused as the doctor is addressing him. Now, as for new treatment, perhaps you can try this. Is this the same thing as the one yesterday? This one is. It is. The other 2 are different. Oh, okay. Do I just... Same deal, supper, night, or supper, get back, supper, and then at night? No. Drink them all at once. Like right now? Whatever you want. It doesn't particularly matter, but if you'd rather get treated sooner, then I suppose drink it now. He grabs the left one. Roll charisma. It's not gonna be so simple as whispering into his ear every time. You have to get more.
Trying to be more demanding. I don't know what the fuck to do.
There's lots of stuff you can do.
Flip the desk, anything. I don't.
You whisper into his ear. Nothing seems to happen. Drinks it. It's not gonna be particularly pleasant, Delvit. Medicines never are. Now go on. Drink the second one.
He tries to flip the desk over.
Roll charisma. As the doctor is pushing forward the operating sort of surgical table, you sort of it's like knocking someone onto their ass as a prank. You know, someone gets underneath them on their knees and then someone pushes them forward. That's basically what you do. You just hold out your foot and just let the doctor himself act as if he's tipping it over. God's damn, these damn floors. The vials shatter against the ground. You look at Delvit but I don't know, 30 seconds or so, he moves to say something to the doctor, but no words come out. And then Delvin notices this himself and he begins tapping his chest with his mouth. He starts speaking more frantically, his lips moving faster. No, Delvin. No. It'll be fine. You just wait here and just wait here and I'll get some other people to help me sort this shortly. Just stay here. Delvit like sort of leans back against the flat of the gurney. And is sort of like breathing heavily. Silently. And the man leaves and closes the curtain behind him. It is just you and Delvit. It's like he's trying to force himself to breathe heavily, and just no noise comes out.
Does it seem like this is collaboration, or is it just like his voice box is shot right now, or being numbed?
You don't know. I will say that not even his breathing is making noise.
That he's on a gurney. He's in the. Sorry, where is he in again? He's not in an office right now, is he?
He's in a medical cubicle.
Medical wing.
A mini operating area.
She tries to remove the curtain as like a sign of just like go.
Roll charisma.
Roll charisma. Roll charisma.
Say with advantage.
Beep it up.
I
The
mean,
second one was a 2.
I mean, you didn't need it because advantage would give us the first one.
Yeah.
Or non-advantage would give us the first one, anyways. You. Not fully, but this sort of freaks Delvin out, and he sits up at the sudden privacy curtain getting opened. Then he stands up from the gurney, begins leaning over, and sort of begins looking left and right. And then down the hall, he's basically looking for someone like pranking him, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
He just looks incredibly confused. And he eventually just sort of stumbles out to the clerk's area, still looking for someone. It seems that there's no other patients on that floor, on that side of the floor. He stumbles out to the clerk area, and the clerk smells him. Hello, Delvin. I'm done already. And he moves to speak back, and the clerk just blinks and looks incredibly concerned. And then stands up slowly. Delvin? This isn't funny. He shakes his head frantically. Oh goodness. And you see the clerk, or the clerk lady, go to the other hallway and lean in, and then shout that Delvin needs help. Once more, you as the epicenter pulsates and then sort of shudders the entire world, which recoalesces into a different place. You hear a familiar voice. This seems to be the man that you first heard talk to Delvin when he was offering treatment. Treatment 1 or treatment 2. Delvin, you're sure it was these two? Delvin nods. Yeah, what's going on? Just tidying up the staff, Delvin is all. Making sure the people that work here deserve to work here. I mean, they didn't do me any wrong. They... quite the contrary, Delvin. Quite the contrary. What do you mean? Let me just confirm these two, yes? No one else? Just those two? Yeah. Just them. Have you seen them talking to anyone recently? Any other staff? Not just doctors, nurses as well, clerks, anyone? No, I haven't seen them. I only saw them during that short stretch. I see. Well then, Delbit, I know you don't. And the gut man opens one of the drawers and pulls out this lockbox and fiddles with the code. And I know you don't go out too much, but he lays out some gold coins. I know you don't get out of the cradle too much, and I really wish you would. So consider this he slides over like a deck of chips. Consider this some encouragement, as well as a reward for a job well done. Delva grabs it and just. I'm still confused. What did I do? As I said, Delvin, as I said. You're just helping me clean up the staff and just prove who wants to be here. And then your world turns into mist as once more you're brought into darkness And once more does it coalesce. Coalesces, and then you're back in another medical cubicle. And you see that doctor, or that apparition of that doctor, speaking. You know it's him because you can hear him speaking. Delvit, as well as another individual. This one a bit more shroudy, a bit more, like, sort of, everyone has sort of, when they moved, just because of their blackened form, just gave off this sort of particle as they move. But they don't ooze out this darkness. This individual, on the other hand, does. This sort of... it's like...
could possibly be.
I wonder as well. It's as if I'm trying to give you guys a story. Like dry ice. Now, Delvit, you know as well as I do that we've tried so much. Yeah, I know. Delvit's voice is a bit deeper. Good for him. Now, Mr. Hughes here, honestly, after so long, I honestly believe that he is your greatest hope at being free of this. So please, he will be here, he'll be in the cradle, here and there. And when he comes, looks for you, please respond. Report to him, and be diligent in following what he says. It's fine, Doctor, it's fine. Looking at a young man like Delvit, I'm sure we would get along just fine. Right? Certainly, Mr. Hughes, certainly. Please, please, goes out of hand. Call me Aiden. Shakes Delvit's hand. Delvit shakes his. And then, gone is this world. And then, but spores and particles into the air. And then, recoalesces. You do not find yourself in a monochrome world. No, you find yourself in a world of black infestation at its finest. And
Chedomir
was prevalent.
Immediately wraps her mouth in like some kind of cloth that she has on her.
And you see the tatters of clothing upon the black infested ground. You see a very skinny, malnourished, live lad on his knees buckled in the center of this room. His eyes are pried open by just some sort of infestation vein, blackened veins hooking his eyes open. And you see that a series of tendrils are either coming from or emerging from or coming into his mouth. He's just bent backwards, his eyes locked on the ceiling, fidgeting back and forth. Tears going down the side of his head. And you see but one piece of paper on the ground. It just simply reads, "Kill me." What do you do?
Oh, now you insinuate I should do something.
You've had the capability of doing something this whole time. I continue only when you don't do anything.
Okay.
What do you do?
She tries to cut the tendrils with her spear.
What, your ironwood spear?
The dark steel ironwood steel. Dark steel ironwood spear. That's the word. Sentence thing.
You, as it dies and decays, it hardens. Flesh to bone.
What's Devlet like?
How do you describe a broken boy? He doesn't react, if that's what you're wondering. He's honestly overgrown into the ground itself at this point.
Can she attempt to big time surgery, try to cut away the extra parts?
You can try. I pray that you don't mess up.
She's going very slowly.
It's not a matter of speed. It's a matter of what you hit. Roll me your medicine at disadvantage. Because you are no surgeon, and you're definitely no surgeon on the void-infested creatures of Dovros.
Whoa, damn!
Very good.
It was a natural 20, but...
You begin cutting away the tendrils with the only thing that seems to be able to cut through them. Your spear. It's very tenuous work, but eventually the 3 tendrils that are either originating or entering his mouth get cut free. He's still bent backwards, his eyes are still locked to the ceiling, and he is still overgrown onto the ground. But the tendrils do not seem to be reforming. You see the cut tendrils that you left begin oozing out black ichor. All 3 of them. Just slowly puddling out.
What spell do I have that I'm thinking of?
They're oozing quite quickly.
Yeah. Fuck it. Do I still have Martial's Hammer? No, I don't. I just tried cutting away at the bone.
Which
see if
one?
that breaks. Which parts are connected to the ground? Like his hands and his legs, mainly, or just like the entire?
His hands, all of his lower legs, his feet, his knees.
Okay, I'm gonna start with just like part between his legs to break him up, so it's not like just one massive mound, but just like, if that makes sense.
Okay, you begin chiseling away. Make me another medicine check at disadvantage. And then following that, make me a Constitution saving throw.
That's a bad time. That's not a great time.
As you're chiseling away at where his left foot is sort of overgrown and festered to the ground,
God damn it, I do have his hammer.
You cut through the fleshy bits of the infestation and hear bone crunch and chip at a strike that went a bit too far. And as you're sort of cursing over this Civil War level amputation, you feel 2 liquid arms just wrap around you like a lover's embrace, and black ichor trail down you. And you gain a level of infection. You turn around quickly, standing up, seeing 2 more of these fluid creatures about to leap and flail towards you.
She just kills those things super fast.
So you try.
Down to.
Make me a dexterity saving throw. 2, to be exact.
I'll just roll at advantage and just count both numbers. 13 and 20.
The second one succeeds. The first one does not. Although in technicality you have disadvantage on all saving throws because of the first level infection.
so roll again.
Yep.
Just do an advantage again. So the lowest two are 9 and 3. 13, not 3. Same deal. Hello?
I'm putting the details of the first level symptom in the infection handout. As you are spattered once more by 2 more of these fluid creatures and gain 2 more levels of infection.
Okay, this is not good. So I'm at 3. That's... Yeah, that's a sign for me to stop doing what I'm doing, because it's not working. This is still something of a dreamscape. Or maybe it's not. Are both the creatures dead? Or...
They're spattered on the ground.
Close enough.
So one might say they're dead. But you do know that the puddles from which they continue from still have black ooze pouring out of the tendrils.
How many cure vials do I have on me? Do I still have 3?
You should have all of them.
Okay. I am going... Well, I didn't... It doesn't matter. I'm going to try and inject the dude with one of them. Just stab him in the heart like an adrenaline shot.
Okay. Roll to hit.
I'm just gonna roll d20 plus 3.
Plus dex or strength, whichever one.
Okay. Do I have proficiency?
I don't believe you ever used a Qatar before. You hit a series of bone.
Her AC is too high.
You hear behind you 3 more creatures pulling themselves out of the ground.
She jams one of those cures into her leg real quick.
You're now no longer infected.
For about 5 seconds.
That remains to be seen.
Wait, you said there's like clothes scattered around?
Tattered, ripped shreds of ruined clothing, yes.
Why is there more than one set of clothes? Those things did attack me though, so...
I didn't say there's more than one set, I just said that there's a shreds of clothes.
Shreds of clothes. Okay, I'm misinterpreting. I'm gonna cast Entangle at their feet. How big is this room?
Let's see. Auditorium room, probably like a rectangular room, about 300 by 120.
Okay, plenty of room. Here is what because they also come from fucking inside him. Here, what I kind of want to do is try combining Entangle with the mark to have, instead of, to make a barricade rather than you cannot pass this area, make it so you cannot enter this area. If that makes sense.
You're gonna make a roll. Let's see how
I would
strong
like to
magically. Let's see how magically strong you are. Let's see. The ranger's spellcasting modifier is Wisdom. Roll me Wisdom.
Just straight raw wisdom. That one, and then... I don't think that works.
It does not.
Crap. Can I...
The mark does not kick in.
Yeah, can I at least use Entangle to stop the creatures over there? Just cast a spell normally.
I'm wondering how effective vines and weeds are against fluid creatures that could just walk through it and not care.
That's a good point, but they're still physical enough.
I will slow them down, but I will tell you. You either live or die here.
Hmm.
Because they will keep coming. So we'll say they're slowed, confused at the new arrangements. But what do you do?
What do I have that I can do?
Your items won't be the thing that saves you, but your actions.
Why do you think I'm thinking?
You did say, what items do I have?
Yeah, and clearly it wasn't working, so I was thinking of other things. I'm being an asshole, sorry.
You literally just said, what do I got? So
yeah,
I was like,
I know,
okay.
I'm being an ass. I'm just thinking. And attack them with your face. Yes, that clearly works. I mean, the easy option is to murder him. I tried to use the cure, and I couldn't get through the thing. I mean, he was being force-fed tentacles, but his cure, I think, has to be injected, not ingested.
It has to be injected into the nervous system.
Nervous system.
Meaning
Can I try?
No, go on.
I'm not enough of a medical professional to think this. Could I try jamming it through his eye into his brain? Like a lobotomy? Or...
With a Curatar, you're probably gonna kill him.
Well, I mean, like, pull out the damn thing and jam the needle in like that.
That would require, like, a sleight of hand roll. Actually, no. Precision. It's supposed to be just be an attack roll of dex still. And you have to aim really carefully. Or else, well, I think we've all seen Dead Space 2's lobotomy sequence to know how badly that can go.
Here's what I do. I put it against his eye, grab out Marshall's hammer that does a D8 damage, and just slam it into his face.
Also, something else to consider is that his eye is more twitchy than Isaac Clarke's in Dead Space 2.
I don't care if he keeps the eye at the end of the day. I care if this thing is injected into his system. Although, twitching eye... Yeah, if he's blind, but he lives through this, I don't care. Although... Like that... I don't know. It could kill him through the blood and shock alone if I do that. But I have a healing potion, so if it's just that, then yeah.
I will say that he has like 0.5 hit points.
Which makes sense considering the situation.
And remember what I rule for insta-kills.
Mm-hmm.
That's for PCs. NPCs just die.
She wants... Okay. I guess I care about fucking up his eye then. She is going to try and inject it lobotomy-like through his eyeball into his brain.
Roll me an attack at disadvantage.
Dexterity?
Aye.
I'm guessing it doesn't use proficiency.
No.
I'm just gonna roll straight dexterity then with disadvantage. Hey, got the same numbers. Cool, nice, sweet, 10 out of 10.
I think that tells you what you need to know.
Well, if anything, this fucking kills him and I waste a cure, so he's dead either way.
I mean, the cure only goes when you inject the plunger down.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that he does stop... His eyes stop twitching. Both of them. And the creatures behind you bubbling, still pulling themselves out of their puddles, begin bubbling even more fervently. And then get relapse, pulled back in. Then black ooze begins to boil away. Tendril begins melting into some sort of baser black ooze. The room itself begins to melt away, like it does when one's on psychedelics or something. Back down to this black ooze. That ooze also begins to boil away. It doesn't bother you, though, as it sizzles into nothingness. The things growing over and out of Delvet similarly break down to their baser ooze form and boil away. And then eventually the room turns back to normal, one might say. Rows upon rows of seats as you stand there on the presentation stage. Shreds of clothes still there. And Delvet's corpse eventually clatters against the woodwork of the stage. You hear at the entrance a set of double doors break open. And you see Mira and Henri. Both of them breathing heavily, having tackled down the door. They see you in this clean room and note the continual self-purging nature of it. And both run down the gradual staircase leading to the presentation stage and climb up it and over to you.
I imagine at this point, Chedomir's kind of just put everything away and is just leaning over the table, like looking up and down this guy's body. Not saying much.
As they climb onto the stage, the empty stage with just you and Delvet, Henri comes up to you and asks, "Are you okay?"
What about you?
Fucking ragged. Ugh.
Where's everyone else?
It's just us in the building, as far as I can tell.
Right.
Mira,
What?
Mira looks from you to Delvet. What happened?
Aiden Hughes? More directly, me?
Okay. Then let me specify my request. What happened to you after we got separated?
Insert backstory. She tells it slow and somber, almost like a field report. But she tells him what happens.
In that time, Mira sidles up next to you, squats down over Devlet's body. Sort of examines it, and then stands up as you're finishing the story and gives you a hug. In that time, Henri goes over to Devlet and sort of lays his body out proper, pulls his feet out straight, lays his arms across his chest, hands cradled, closes his bloodshot eyes, and begins muttering a prayer. In that, Miro is whispering to you. I'm sorry, Chedomir.
She gives like a half-heart hug. You know, like the ones around the waist where it's just like, hi,
Yeah.
here, but like,
Yeah.
you just don't have the energy. Yeah. You two, Mira, what happened to you after the case?
I bumped into. I went down the support shaft after lockpicking it up. I looked for you and I couldn't find you, and then I bumped into Henri, and then last glimpse we got of you is we walking into this auditorium, and then the doors closed behind you, and we spent like what the past minute trying to break it open.
I just I just walked in. Was I in a daze? What?
Yeah,
Did you call?
we tried shouting out at you, but at that point the doors were on their closing steps. Then we tried busting it down, and well, here we are. You see Henri reach into her bag and pull out a flower, and she nestles it between his one on top of another cradled hands. The skies will be better for you, young Devlet. They'll be better than anywhere you've seen.
You're going to destroy that guy.
Mira, like, puts you at arm's length, her hands on your shoulders. On that, Chedomir, I think we're all in agreement. Don't let Delvet's stuff be for nothing. And remember what you told me. Don't go do anything crazy.
I think I get one. You immediately jumped into a well afterwards. I think I could get one crazy.
Yeah, one. Just don't die doing it. If anyone's supposed to die here, it'd probably be me. None of us are dying here. You both got that fucking clear. I will drag your fucking asses out of here and find some necromancer of the woods to bring you back just to bitch slap you out of existence again.
Honestly, that'd be impressive to an extent.
Aye, aye, Captain.
You think that jamming into his brain thing would have actually worked?
Potentially, if nothing else was available. And from the looks of it, I think... And the place is still sizzling. I don't think you, I think you had a lot to deal with.
Think we could learn anything from an autopsy?
I don't think there's any infection left in him.
The bone apertures, or aperture, that's probably the wrong word. The bone parts that were holding him in the ground, those completely fizzled away and everything, correct?
Yeah. There never any bone parts holding him there.
Oh, right.
Just infestation. Which one would constitute is similar to bone in their gross manner.
Actions. Gross. Anyways. She... looking like she would be interested in disease somehow. Nah, Simo might be interested in disease, but Chedomir probably wouldn't be that interested. It's honestly just a straight medical situation, or at least mostly medical situation. This is meandering.
We should... Yeah, we should get out of here.
Let's go.
I hope everyone else is safe.
They are.
How do you know?
We're a bit too tough and stubborn to die here.
I'm sure a lot of people in this town thought the same way.
Yeah,
You guys,
a lot of people in this town aren't seekers and adventurers.
plenty of seekers died in this town, Chedomir. While the training in the world doesn't save you when the world's against you. Henri, you coming? She shouts back. You guys are like halfway through the steps towards the exit door, and Henri's still leaned over this guy. I'm coming. And she stands up and begins approaching you. Alright.
And while you're here. Hello? I don't know if this is intentional or not, but everyone's muted besides the creepy fucking music.
I know, I'm checking something.
Okay, cool.
I'm checking to see if paladins have Revivify.
Ooh, that's a good...
I don't believe they do.
Don't know, find out.
I don't believe they do.
They do, but I don't think he has access to third level spells.
Henri? Henri's the same level as you guys.
Yeah, our Chedomir doesn't. The half-caster. Yeah, they have cleric spells. Mostly.
Checking into his nervous system, you couldn't break into his fucking spine. Jesus.
Paladin.
Paladin spell list. Power of Google. Wait, don't use that one. Use this one. F. Reviv. They do. 3rd level. I believe said they had it too. I believe. Don't quote me on that because I'm not 100% sure. Although at this level, like Oak said, I'm not sure if they would access the 3rd.
I made them both 9th level.
Ooh.
For the I gave them both 9th level solely for the reasons of teleportation circle and Revivify.
Yeah,
I made 2 NPCs which were designated, we're here to help NPCs.
With that in mind, they have 2 3rd level spell slots, and she does have access to Revivify, if you gave them that.
Well, I suppose where this sequence is going to be different then. Henri, are you coming? What languages do you speak, Chedomir?
I speak a number. Oops.
You speak a number, I imagine.
Although, if I had to guess,
Yeah.
it's probably Nevros that she's speaking if she's the Nevros one. Oh, that might be racist to think.
That would be fair to say, but it is not Nevra she's speaking. She speaks a tongue, which you know is Sylvan.
Where the what the huh? That's not even left field. Oh,
With your 21 perception, you hear her mutter the Sylvan words for Courts of the Seasons. Please don't take this child. He has only experienced the cold of winter, and he shall never, ever feel the warmth of summer if he goes now. It is fey nature to be of balance, so please grant me the blessing and give him balance. Give him some joy amidst his hardship. The flower she tucked away in his hands begins surging all around him, growing this sort of cocoon. And then the petals fly away towards you, Amira, and go past you and fizzle to nothingness. As suddenly these vines grow thorns as you come over and watch this happen in full detail, in real time. The vines suddenly acquire spikes which pierce at different points all across his body. Then Henri reaches into a pouch on her side, pulls out a diamond, and lays it upon the boy's head. The vines, thornless vines, grow upon Dovid's neck and reach up to this diamond, and then suddenly grow thorns and pierce across his body. As they come into contact with the diamond, it goes from that beautiful opalescence of a diamond, shifting in color from that general pure white to the fiery orange of summer, and the white into chilling blue of winter, and then back to white, pure and true, like this paladin's devotion. And then it shatters and fizzles to nothingness. And from that shattering and fizzling, a cascade of energy surges through all of the vines, fizzling them as well, and closing the wounds, the multiple of thorn holes that it leaves upon his body. And there, you're fine. Where am I? Welcome back to the land of the living, lad. His eyes twitchy, frantic, but nowhere near as twitchy or frantic as they were when you found him. Lands on Henri.
Speaking of eyes, is his eye fine? The one I jammed with a needle?
It's fine.
Okay.
I remember you, and he begins sitting up, and he sees Mira, and you, and his eyes land on you. He smiles. You.
Hi. Nice to meet you. I guess.
He sits up a bit more fully, and Henri sort of helps stand him up. She pulls out canteen, he drinks from it. And then Henri pulls off her mantle and lays it upon him. The only form of clothing he has.
Like the healing mantle, or like mantle as in cloak?
Mantle as in infection mantle. What was the last thing you remember, lad? I remember all of you. I remember his eyes land on you, Chedomir. And he tears up. And he smiles. You've seen what I went through.
It's a pretty picture. But you were never alone.
I was always alone. Always.
Well, you don't have to be. Let's go with that one then. He just kind of awkwardly like, just pats him on the shoulder, like, there. It is open for like if he wants to tackle her. Or
He still looks pretty feeble.
Yeah, I figure. But like, hey.
Are you okay to walk? He tries to stand up.
Chedomir grabs him.
Yeah, he stumbles immediately, but you're there to catch him, and he stops himself with his hands. I'll take that as a no then. No, I'm sorry. It's alright. Don't you know, adventuring sorts are meant to help people. It's just like the stories. Aye, just like stories. And I'm sure this adventurer here will be happy to help you. Right, Chedomir?
Chedomir nods. She has, like, a hint of a smile on her face. Which for her is probably very noticeable because the resting bitch face.
Getting you out of here is going to be a bit of a hassle. Please don't leave me here. We won't. We won't. I was not ever insinuating that. I'm just saying that if you're not able to walk, we're going to find some means of moving you. I mean, we have a number of wheelchairs and gurneys around. That's a good point. You know, you guys wait here. I'm going to grab a wheelchair.
Be careful. Oh.
Right back at ya. No, Delvit, just take this time to regain your strength. And rest. The nightmare is over. He sort of begins like cringing inwards, feet away, smiling, tears of joy. Finally. Chedomir. A word, please.
She nods in agreement. Or approval. She nods to say yes.
Follow me. She walks to like just another part of the stage.
Yeah.
Still,
privacy.
Yeah. What you saw just now didn't happen. Okay?
But it's so very interesting.
I can tell the mark of winter is upon you, adventurer. And she holds up a finger to her lips. Not a word.
Mm-hmm.
She nods. Good.
But I am seriously really curious. What the how does that work?
Is a fairy not a god?
I mean, perspective.
I assure you the fairies have just as much claim to the twins as any of the gods do. And I'm willing to do what it takes, whatever it takes, to get my job done. If that means calling to my ancestors' gods, I don't mind. Allows me to hunt better in the dark too. Got one! Mira's like wheeling down a wheelchair. Now, of course, the matter of protecting young Delvit will be difficult, I think you understand.
Understatement of the year.
Don't get me wrong, I very much value the boy after going through so much. But at the same time, I look out for my own. If it comes time between him or my seekers take the precedent. So that's why I want to ask you personally to watch over them.
Mm-hmm.
Very well. Let us be away from this terrible place and get out of the even worse place that is this fucking cradle. You both help Delvit onto the wheelchair. And begin wheeling him down and out the physically crippled ward.
Do you think we should check the place? Make sure there's no one else here?
Me and Mira already did a run through. Mira and you did the top floors, I did the bottom ones.
How reliable is that considering all the shit that's been going on?
Fair enough. If you want to do it once over, you wait here with Delvit, and me and Mira will go check it out.
Alright.
The place isn't terribly big, so we'll be back.
We'll be here.
10 minutes pass. Delvit's sort of holding on to the canteen, and then Mira had acquired a blanket along with the wheelchair, and that's sort of just been thrown over him.
So, did you ever figure out what happened with those doctors?
The ones that were fired?
Yeah.
I heard they got turned over to the watch.
What happens there?
People that go to the watch in this town, I think there's a 50% chance they don't come back.
The other 50% probably isn't much better, is it?
Well, it's 50%. They get 25% chance to get released, 25% chance to get imprisoned, and then 50 for the execution grounds.
Bad times all around.
I've been reliving all this, and when I got there, I sort of wish they succeeded in poisoning me. And when I've been put through this, and I wouldn't have got to you guys and all this mess.
But then you want to get a chance to see the better side of life. It's not in a literal hellhole.
I'm happy. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy and grateful. And he holds out his arm, riddled with scars, surgical scars. It's gotta come back. And then I'm back to square one.
I might have people that could help you. I won't guarantee anything, but it's a better shot than... Not a better shot, but a possibly better shot than this.
I've been hearing, I know someone, I know a way all my life. It's never been
Are you
right.
just gonna stop now?
Seems a lot easier at this point. And apparently if I live, I'll just keep getting in people's ways. Time will get wasted on me. Resources. I figured it out. My life's not more important than anyone else's, so why does so much get spent on me?
Because people care. They want to see you get better.
Yeah, and look where that got him. He looks around at the place.
This isn't your fault at all. You were a tool for someone else's heinous crimes, to say the least. If it wasn't you, it would have just been someone else. Maybe a different variant, a different disease, but it would have just been someone else.
It probably would have been better if it was someone else, though.
It would not have been.
How do you know?
This guy specializes in making hell out of pretty much anything, it seems.
He goes quiet at that.
There are people that want to help you and people that can. Just takes a little time. Sometimes.
Yeah, sure. Drinks from the canteen.
I know the best fucking alchemist that around, and I'm gonna make him help you, or at least find someone that can fucking help you at the Maestro's, which is probably better than this place, because the Twins sucks. Have you seen this place? Everything is muddy. I have been covered
gives you a
in mud
look.
for 2 weeks.
I've had people from the Maesters come and examine me. And here we are. At this point, you hear Mira and Henri stepping down the stairs. No one in any operating tables. No one in any of the cells. Place is as normal. Well, no one's with fucking Cradle can be. You get used to it. I'll hold you on your word for that, champ. Really. I think we spent enough time here, though. I think that could be doubly said for you, huh? Yeah. Let's get the fuck out of here. Agreed? Henri takes one handle, you take the other for, wheeling Delvet out. You guys go down this sort of route, this little path that leads to the physically crippled ward. And then you emerge out onto the road that carves through the Cradle. And sort of sort of leads to the sort of central courtyard in between all these buildings. As you are leaving and pulling out from the sort of yard buffer zone around this place, with Henri and Mira in tow, you see opposite of you Marshall with Nevi and Tala, two Seekers, a very live, sort of apathetic looking man, and a halfling. Diagonally opposite of you, you see Seema, way out over there, with Danway and two other Seekers. And way down the way to the right, all the way down this carving path, you see Aldrich with Owen, another Seeker, and Seeker Captain Evelyn. And then we will begin the next session with you guys busting out of the cradle. Hopefully. End recording.